Chapter 800. Shi Shang flew up again and Feng Qing rose up at the same time. They stood in the air and looked at each other from a distance. Feng Jiyin, your death is here. Shi Shang's lips curled into a strange smile and he swung his sword without saying a word. Heaven and earth suddenly changed color, and the light dimmed. The sky that was still clear a moment ago was instantly covered with dark clouds. Feng Qing didn't know what Shi Shang wanted to do, but the black sword in her hand didn't move at all. Rumble! The sound of heavenly thunder rolled over like thousands of soldiers and horses galloping. Even the earth trembled. Purple lightning as thick as an arm rolled in the dark clouds. Just as Feng Qing was looking at the sky, the lightning fell without warning and struck her. The lightning was faster than she imagined. It was still in the sky, but it was right in front of her in the blink of an eye. She didn't have time to dodge and could only use her black sword to block it. When the purple lightning struck the black sword, the sword body that was condensed from black gas was penetrated. Although it quickly closed up, it was clearly much weaker. The purple lightning didn't just strike Feng Qing. It still attacked indiscriminately. However, the purple lightning could be absorbed by the iron sword, so it didn't hit Shi Shang. The black energy in Feng Qing's hand became weaker and weaker. It seemed like it would disappear in the next second. She suddenly charged at Shi Shang without a care for her life. If she was going to die, she would die with her. Several bolts of purple lightning fell from the dark clouds and blocked Feng Qing's path. When she rushed over, there was no trace of Shi Shang and she was surrounded by lightning. Shi Shang stood below and looked up at the sky. Looking at this scene from below, it was definitely very shocking. He couldn't even make a special effect that cost 10,000 yuan. If necessary, he could just use a big move and kill her. A gradual cycle or something like that was just a scam. Don't play tricks with the host. You're always the one who gets scammed. The black sword was weakened, but it didn't disappear. It suddenly left Feng Qing and as if it had a mind of its own, it passed through the lightning zone and shot down from the sky with a destructive power. Fight to the death? Shi Shang sneered. She raised her iron sword. It looked like a casual swing, but in reality, she had poured all of her strength into it. The formless sword qi clashed with the black sword. That moment seemed to have been played in slow motion. There was no violent sound, but the black sword disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye, as if it had never appeared. Shi Shang propped himself up with his iron sword and took a deep breath, suppressing the raging smell of blood in his body. In the end, you even managed to scheme against me once. Previously, she had already felt that Mu Bai's posture was a little strange. She did not expect it to be waiting for her here. Not bad, Mu Bai. You've successfully attracted my attention. Without the black sword, Feng Qing was even weaker. She couldn't even take a single bolt of purple lightning and fell from the sky. The dark clouds in the sky were still there, but the lightning was not as thick as before, and the color was also much lighter. Damn! This was the heavenly axiom of this world. When Shi Shang saw that Lei was heading towards him, he quickly ran towards Yin Wei. He wanted to chop Ai in half again. Get out of here! Shi Shang threw himself into Yin Wei's arms. If you can't kill Feng Qing like this, then you might as well die. The last sentence was shouted at the two old men in the distance. Just as she finished speaking, a bolt of lightning came crashing down, striking the spot where she had just been standing. But when the lightning disappeared, there was no one there. The lightning in the sky flickered for a moment, but it didn't find a target and gradually dissipated. The two old men. That's it. They couldn't understand this fight at all. But Feng Qing. The two old men quickly ran towards where Feng Qing had fallen. Feng Qing was lying on the ground, barely breathing. The two looked at each other and took out their weapons at the same time. Feng Qing didn't die, but she was taken back and imprisoned. Shi Shang didn't know the reason and didn't want to know. Feng Qing had killed so many people, the protagonist aura was probably gone. She would probably be imprisoned for the rest of her life. After dealing with Feng Qing, Shi Shang returned to the Feng family. When he mentioned Feng Qing to the head of the Feng family, Shishang asked him why he hated Feng Qingqing so much. The head of the Feng family only said that her mother had killed his wife and didn't say anything else. The female lead's plot wasn't decided by Shishang, so she didn't have the heart to investigate. After staying in the Feng family for a while, she prepared to leave the Feng family and take her Feng Ci to wander. You really don't want to see Di Jun? The head of the Feng family sent Shishang out and asked tentatively. Shishang shook his head. I'm just a stranger to him, what's there to see? She had no obligation to help the previous owner complete something that wasn't part of her last wishes. AI. The head of the Feng family sighed helplessly. State teacher. I'll leave Xiao Yin to you. I hope you can treat her well. Yin Wei held Shishang's hand and tilted her head. I will. This was the person he had been searching for many years and now regarded as a treasure. Of course he would treat her well. The Feng family will always be your home. Come back at any time. The head of the Feng family nodded and waved his hand. Go. Probably because he didn't want Shishang to see his reluctant side, the head of the Feng family turned and left first. Shishang led Yin Wei out and said, Let's go to the swamp mist abyss first. We'll go wherever you say. Do you want to die? Don't you know how to work? Take the things over there. A scolding interrupted the two. Shishang tilted his head slightly and saw a stooped figure being pulled by someone. That seemed to be Feng Wu. Feng Wu probably saw Shishang and was a little stunned. Then he was kicked a few more times. Feng Yu spread rumors about Shishang. When the head of the Feng family found out, Feng Yu was directly executed. Later, it somehow involved Feng Wu. Although Feng Wu didn't die, his life in the Feng family wasn't easy now. Shishang calmly withdrew his gaze. Just like in the Devil Flame Ridge, she didn't have any emotions, as if he was just an insignificant passerby. Yin Wei's lifespan wasn't long. It was probably because he had signed a lifetime contract with the demon. What Yin Wei did most of the time was to hug him and watch the stars and the moon together. Then he fell into a deep sleep. When he woke up the next day, he found himself lying on the bed. Sometimes, Yin Wei was afraid. But every time Shishang looked into his eyes, those emotions would vanish into thin air and become tranquil. She wouldn't leave him. Shishang knew that his death was near, so he didn't do anything crazy. He just calmly accompanied him until he completely lost his breath. Shishang took off the watch on his wrist, helped him change into a new set of clothes, and carried him into the tomb that had been prepared long ago. The tomb door closed silently behind her. The scene outside suddenly changed. It turned into a lake. The lake water rippled, reflecting the blue sky and white clouds. Everything was peaceful. The 24th world ended. Little fairy, the 24th is already here. The 30th is not far away. Shishang. So what are you trying to say? Little fairy. Voting. Shishang. Please tell me, what does the 30th have to do with voting? Little fairy. It's the end of the month. Shishang. Cherub, I'm convinced. Chapter 801. Many people said that my origin was unknown. Actually, I didn't even know where I came from. From the moment I was conscious, I was in a place full of evil and evil energy. The things there were called the demon abyss. But I was different from those things. I was made of flesh and blood, a human. A human. That was what they called me. The place I lived in was a cave. It was very small, and there was only a stone platform that could be used as a bed. There was nothing else. At first, I didn't dare to leave the place I lived in. There were those things outside, waiting for me to go out and eat me. But I felt that I was very hungry. I had to go out, or I would starve to death there. The first time I went out, I didn't even walk 5 meters before I was forced back. In order to survive, I could only try again and again to protect myself and find food. I didn't know how much time I wasted. It was worth mentioning that even though I was very hungry, I didn't die. But that kind of hunger was hard to bear. Finally, one day, I successfully walked out of their encirclement. But the situation in the demon abyss was completely different from what I imagined. There was only desolation, withered, and evil energy everywhere. There was no food, no humans, nothing. I could only go back to the small world that could protect me from them. Aside from feeling hunger, I didn't die. I couldn't find food, so I could only endure the hunger. Staying in the same place all day was boring and boring. But I still grew there day by day. No one taught me how to increase my strength. I could only find my own way to fight with those things outside. Although I was covered in wounds every time, I was no longer so afraid of them. Gradually, the things outside became fewer and fewer. They began to fear me. It was also from that time that I began to have a recurring dream. The dream was very real, as if it had really happened. There was a girl in the dream. I couldn't see her face clearly, but she made me feel close. She made me feel light and warmth in a dark world. I began to look forward to resting every day. Only then could I see things different from my world. I occasionally found out from their conversations that the demon abyss was just a small world. There was a bigger world outside. I wanted to go out. I wanted to go out and find her. Find the girl in the dream, get her, possess her. At that time, my mind was filled with this thought. In order to get out, I began to ask around about how to get out. At first, they didn't tell me, but after I taught them a lesson, they revealed a secret. Let me find immortality. Eternal life was a demon, and the entire demon abyss existed because of him. The first time I saw Immortal, he didn't have a physical body, but I could feel that he was much more powerful than the demons outside. Human. His tone was very strange, as if he was surprised and excited at the same time. Can you take me out of here? Ha! Who told you that? Immortality flew towards me in a ball of black gas. You actually dared to come here alone? Why wouldn't I? I asked. It flew around me, its voice rising and falling. Do you know where this is? I don't know. There were many places in the demon abyss that I didn't know. How dare you come here when you don't know? I want to go out. Immortal suddenly floated in front of me. He didn't have eyes, but I felt like he was looking at me. His stare made my hair stand on end. You want to go out? Immortality stopped in front of me for a long time, then said in a strange voice, Sure, sign a contemporaneous contract with me. What contemporaneous contract? Contemporaneous life, different death. Contemporaneous life, different death. Whoever was stronger would have the chance to devour the other party. Of course, we could share our superpowers. My ability to control space was shared with him. I agreed to sign a contemporaneous contract with him. I had to go out. He was the one who gave me the name Yin Wei. When he told me the name, there seemed to be hatred in his voice. It was the kind of hatred that made him want to crush my bones and scatter my ashes. I was at a disadvantage, and my rationality told me that I couldn't refute him. Getting out of the demon abyss was smoother than I had expected. Immortality seemed to have known it would be like this, so he wasn't surprised. You are a human, and I am a demon. The demon domain only works on demons, not you. That was what Immortality had told me back then. You schemed against me? Schemed? So what if I schemed against you? Without my guidance, you wouldn't have been able to get out. He was right. Without his guidance, even if I wasn't restricted by the demon abyss, I wouldn't have been able to get out. Immortality was ambitious and arrogant. The first thing he wanted to do when he got out was to unify the continent. My goal wasn't to unify the continent. But I didn't have the ability to fight against him back then. I could only walk step by step, from nothing to the powerful imperial tutor. The time is right. Yin Wei, you should make your move. Immortality had said that to me more than once. But I had brushed him off. But that time, he probably sensed something. He knew that I wanted to deal with him, so he attacked me first. Although I won in the end, I was trapped in the imperial tutor's residence and couldn't leave for too long. He couldn't do anything to me, and I couldn't do anything to him. I spent a long time looking for the girl in my dream, but I didn't find anything. They weren't the people I was looking for. Every time there was hope, there would be disappointment. The more times you were disappointed, the more despair you would feel. I went to the Demon Flame Ridge to obtain that divine item. I wanted to borrow its power to destroy immortality. Although I might have died because of it, I couldn't let immortality grow stronger day by day. I couldn't let him take my body and do whatever he wanted. But I didn't expect that divine item to be so difficult to obtain. It was guarded by the Blood Kirin and so many Xian beasts. The Blood Kirin could command all the Xian beasts in the Demon Flame Ridge. I never told her that. When she was negotiating with the Xian beasts, I suspected that the Blood Kirin was behind it, but I had no proof. The first time I saw her, I knew that I had found the person I was looking for. But I was in a mess, and she was so dazzling. So, I didn't dare show myself. I endured the backlash of leaving the Imperial Tutor's residence and followed her. In the end, I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to go back. What surprised me was that she followed me. What surprised me even more was that she didn't seem to dislike me. She even liked me. I always remembered the thought she gave me. 2 simple words. It made me want to hug her. This was the girl I had been looking for many years. But I couldn't. I ran away in defeat. When she appeared outside the Imperial Tutor's residence and saw the 2 Kirins, I subconsciously gave them to her. I gave myself to you a long time ago. Yin Wei. Chapter 802. The host's name was Bu Meng. However, this child looked very cute, so she was named Bu Meng. It was a strange contrast. Bu Meng was an orphan who grew up in a Taoist temple. In today's society, there were very few people who studied metaphysics and it was declining. However, the Taoist temple where Bu Meng was from still had some real masters. Bu Meng's master was one of them. Bu Meng had been studying with her master since she was young, but she was probably not good at metaphysics and had always been a dabbler. Her master eventually gave up. Everyone in the Taoist temple knew that Bu Meng was a jinx. What she said didn't come true, but what she said didn't. The other children in the Taoist temple didn't want to play with Bu Meng, for fear that she would say bad things happened to them. Therefore, the originally cheerful child became less and less talkative. In the end, they only communicated with words. Bu Meng's master couldn't bear it. Coincidentally, Bu Meng was about to enter junior high school, so he brought her to the city and asked his friend to help take care of her. This friend was her manager and he often left early and returned late. One day, the manager saw Bu Meng's lyrics and felt that she was very talented. He asked her if she wanted to learn music. Bu Meng didn't like to talk, but it didn't mean that she didn't like to communicate with others. Lyrics allowed her to write her own thoughts, so she was very willing to learn. The manager asked Bu Meng's master and got his permission to send Bu Meng to a music school. Bu Meng was indeed very talented in this aspect. She had written songs for some people in private, but not everyone could sing her lyrics. Those who could sing them would definitely become popular. Many people in the music industry had heard of her, but no one had ever seen her. All her communication was done online. Even the manager who took care of her didn't know. Originally, she wouldn't have any trouble, but Bu Meng still encountered trouble. However, it wasn't the female lead, but the supporting female lead, Yin Baobao. Yin Baobao was Bu Meng's senior sister. She was good-looking, had a good family background, and had a strong background. In this novel, she played the role of an evil supporting female lead, adding to the relationship between the male and female lead. However, Yin Baobao was seen through. The person who saw through Yin Baobao was a reader who had read the novel. Yin Baobao had read the novel and knew Bu Meng's identity. She tried all kinds of ways to get close to her. She knew the reason why Yin Baobao couldn't speak, so she stayed by Bu Meng's side as a caring sister. Bu Meng gradually, Yin Baobao accepted and relied on Yin Baobao. Yin Baobao got close to Bu Meng for a reason. She coaxed Bu Meng into writing a lot of songs for her. Then, she used these songs to get close to the male lead, An Chen. When An Chen sang these songs, Bu Meng knew that she had been deceived. She went to look for Yin Baobao. However, at that time, Yin Baobao was already together with Chen. The two of them were always together and were the envy of everyone in the circle. One was a beautiful new lyricist, and the other was a famous prince of love songs. Their backgrounds were also very compatible. No matter how one looked at it, they were a match made in heaven. In order to protect her image in front of Chen, Yin Baobao went to Bu Meng in private and asked her not to spread rumors. She also complained that she really had no choice. Bu Meng's heart softened. She promised Yin Baobao that she wouldn't tell anyone, but she couldn't use her works anymore. Yin Baobao agreed on the surface, but when Chen needed a new song, Yin Baobao still gave him the lyrics she had stolen from Bu Meng. This song had a special meaning to Bu Meng. She had never thought of finding someone to sing it for her. When she heard Chen sing it, Bu Meng was furious. She went to Yin Baobao and said that she wanted to sue her. Yin Baobao was probably really afraid that Bu Meng would sue her, but she was even more afraid that Chen would find out the truth. Therefore, she secretly found someone to catch Bu Meng and take a video of her being raped. She threatened that if Bu Meng dared to tell anyone, she would post the video online. Bu Meng didn't dare to tell anyone about this. Yin Baobao used this to threaten Bu Meng to write songs for her. Yin Baobao became more and more famous. She replaced Bu Meng's name and was doing very well in the circle. Yin Baobao had something on Bu Meng, so Bu Meng didn't dare to say anything. Yin Baobao also needed more and more songs. Writing songs also required inspiration. Bu Meng couldn't write so many songs. In the end, Bu Meng was driven crazy. She said online that she had written those songs, but no one believed her. Even her manager didn't believe her. He thought that she had a mental problem and needed treatment. When no one believed her, Bu Meng chose to end her own life. Bu Meng died, and Yin Baobao even released the video to defame Bu Meng. Yin Baobao was still the supporting female character in this novel. In the end, her actions would be exposed, and the male lead would still be with the female lead. Of course, Bu Meng didn't know this. Bu Meng's last wish was to expose Yin Baobao's true colors and let her receive the punishment she deserved. She came here when Yin Baobao kidnapped Bu Meng. Shi Shang looked at the camera in the room. The camera was on, but it was facing the woman on the ground. Shi Shang only took a glance before looking away. The original owner of the body was a jinx. Shi Shang looked at the two men tied together and suddenly said, "You will be arrested by the police." The two men were speechless. Just 3 minutes later, they heard the sound of police sirens. Damn, that was amazing. They didn't even have to take out their swords. The police came up very quickly, but they were a little stunned when they saw the scene in the room. What was going on? Shi Shang sat on the only stool in the room. He crossed his legs and leisurely propped his chin up as he watched them break in. There was a woman lying on the ground, and they didn't know if she was dead or alive. The two men's semen still lingered in her body, so they couldn't deny it. They really didn't know who hired them. They only had photos, and they didn't even know Shi Shang's name. Shi Shang was a victim. Even if she was a strange victim, it couldn't erase the fact that she was a victim. Hence, she was quickly released after she went to the police station to record her statement. Hong Dui, that camera has been tampered with. As soon as Shi Shang left, someone rushed over to look for Hong Dui, who was recording Shi Shang's statement. Has it been touched by someone? Hong Dui silently asked what it meant. One of the videos has been deleted by someone. Can it be recovered? That person shook his head. No. What's the deleted part? It should be the scene of the young lady subduing the evil men. But looking at the position of the camera, it didn't capture much. Previously, when they were interrogating the two men, they didn't say a word about how they were subdued by a young lady. They even looked scared. He looked at the young lady. She was quite a cute young lady. Even if she knew a little taekwondo, she didn't have to be so scared. Hong Dui frowned slightly. Got it. The rest of the evidence is enough to convict them. Asterisk votes please. Votes please. Chapter 803. Shi Shang came out of the police station and walked to her place, deep in thought. Bu Meng's ability should be the power of speech. He just didn't know who it would work on. Shi Shang decided to give it a try. It was already past 9 o'clock in the morning. She found a square and squatted there. She cursed whoever she didn't like. For example, she would fall, lose her wallet, or get beaten up. But some worked, and some didn't. Shi Shang tested those who didn't look like good people. Almost all of them worked. However, those who looked very kind or children didn't work. Among the people in her experiments, most of them were innocent children who didn't work. Even those who appeared to be good people didn't work. Shi Shang tested for a long time and came to a conclusion. This thing only worked on bad people. It didn't work on good people. It was like a machine that could distinguish good from bad. Shi Shang did another blessing test on those who didn't work before. It turned out that it worked. Maybe it didn't work even if it was a little dirty. She was a fraud. My Meng Meng is amazing. How could she not use such a good skill? How stupid. Shi Shang finished the experiment and was about to leave. As soon as he stood up, he felt dizzy and fell into the pool next to him. With a splash, he fell into the pool, splashing water all over the ground. What happened to saving the damsel in distress? Why was I so unlucky? Asterisk flips table asterisk hearing the noise. The people in the square all looked over. Some people came to help Shi Shang out. Shi Shang's entire being was filled with rejection. Her head hurt, her eyelids were heavy, and she was so sleepy. Seeing that she wasn't in a good state, someone suggested sending her to the hospital. However, most people just looked on coldly. Shi Shang was sent to the hospital in the end. The person who sent her there was a middle-aged woman who could bless her in the previous test. She deliberately waited for Shi Shang to wake up. I've called your uncle. He'll be here soon. Seeing Shi Shang looking around, the middle-aged woman said softly, You're so young. How can you be so tired? Take care of your body. Don't think that you can exhaust your body just because you're young. Tired? Shi Shang rubbed between her eyebrows. It must be because she overused the power of speech. It seemed that there were still restrictions. The uncle that the middle-aged woman called Yu Shang was the manager that took care of the original owner. Yu Shang came very quickly. He looked normal, but he had a long life, so he should not have done anything bad. Of course, Shi Shang didn't know how to read people's faces. It was just that the original owner had these memories. Yu Shang thanked the middle-aged woman and paid the medical fees that she had helped to pay before personally sending her out. Why aren't you in school? Yu Shang still looked a little tired, but he still asked with concern, Have you been too tired from studying recently? Shi Shang shook his head. She brought it on herself. Yu Shang was used to the original owner not speaking, so he didn't say anything else. He just gave her a few instructions. After asking the doctor if there was anything serious, he started to work on the phone. Yu Xingyi answered several calls. Something must have happened. He turned to Shi Shang and said, Have a good rest. Uncle has called a nurse for you. If there's anything, just tell the nurse. Uncle will come to see you later. Shi Shang nodded again. Yu Shang was a little worried, but the phone kept ringing, so he still left. Shi Shang's body was fine, but she had overexerted herself. She had to lie in the hospital for 3 days before she slowly recovered. When she was discharged, Yu Shang sent her a text saying that he would come to pick her up. Shi Shang directly rejected him. Yu Shang was probably really busy. After confirming that Shi Shang did not want to pick her up, he told her to go home and report that she was safe. Yu Shang had several artists under him. Sometimes, when he was busy, he could not be seen for a month. Shi Shang left the hospital and prepared to take a taxi home. Only when he touched his pocket did he realize that he could only take the bus. The original owner was taken away without anything except for the 5 yuan that she had stuffed in her trouser pocket at some point in time. If he wanted to take the bus, he would take the bus. Shi Shang looked at the bus stop and got on the bus. It was not rush hour, so there were not many people. Shi Shang found a seat and sat down. The bus was moving and stopping, and the empty bus was actually packed with people, one next to another. Just as Shi Shang was about to reach the bus stop, he suddenly heard arguing in front of him. Then, someone screamed that there was a murder. The bus came to an emergency stop. The screeching sound of the brakes resounded through the entire lane. The people on the bus fell forward. It was chaos. Shi Shang supported himself to steady himself. There were too many people in front of him, so he could not see what was going on. Indistinct screams and the cries of children could be heard, as well as the dissatisfied grumbling of people. It was very noisy when mixed together. Shi Shang stood on his seat and looked forward. A man wearing a mask was holding a 7 or 8-year-old child hostage. There was a woman lying at his feet. Blood was seeping out of her abdomen. Shi Shang, what kind of development was this? The people on the bus did not dare to get close to the man. They all retreated and tried to calm the man down. However, the effect was not good. Back off, all of you back off, or I will kill her. The man grabbed the child's neck tightly. The child's face was blue. He held a dagger in his other hand and pointed it at the people around him. The people did not dare to provoke the man, so they could only back off. Child. The woman on the ground was not dead. She reached out to the child weakly. She looked at the people around her with her eyes covered. Save my child, save my child. Open the door and let them out. The man ignored the woman's pleas and shouted at the driver. The driver was also frightened. He pressed the button to open the door with trembling hands. It took him a few tries to open the door. As soon as the door opened, the people in the bus rushed out. Who would want to stay in the same bus as a murderer? Shi Shang was sitting at the back. When the people were almost out of the bus, he stood up slowly. Hurry up, the man urged. His voice was rough and trembling. It was not clear whether he was afraid or anxious. When Shi Shang got to the door, he saw the woman on the ground. It was the woman who had sent him to the hospital a few days ago. He was about to get out of the bus when he stopped at the door. What do you want? Get out. The man tightened his grip. The child's face was red. Why is she still not coming down? Are young ladies nowadays so bold? Hurry up and get out. That's a murderer. Call the police. Have you called the police? Aya, the child is dying. The people outside the bus stood far away and discussed. The scene was very chaotic. Shi Shang smiled. His light pink lips parted slightly. Go to hell. The veins on the man's forehead bulged. What did you say? Shi Shang repeated word by word. I told you to go to hell. The man was about to say something when a shadow suddenly came from afar. The anger in his eyes turned into fear. He subconsciously let go of the child and ran out of the bus. Bang! The scene was eerily silent. It was as if the entire space had stopped. * daily text block. # today's almond-flavored votes. # goodnight. Touch you guys, monthly votes. Monthly votes. The last few days. Send me to the rankings. Chapter 804. A truck appeared out of nowhere and crashed into the bus. The bus skidded for a distance and was severely deformed. After a strange silence, the bus became noisy again. Many brave people ran toward the bus. The door of the bus was closed and couldn't be opened. They could only climb in through the window to save the girl. Inside the bus, Shi Shang let go of the child and checked her arm. A piece of glass was stuck in it and blood kept seeping out. Soon, her clothes were dyed red. The criminal was lying on the seat and didn't move. She didn't know if he was dead or alive. Before Shi Shang could go forward to check, she was taken out by the people who came in. The police and ambulance arrived late. The woman and the criminal were sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. Shi Shang didn't want to go to the hospital and asked the doctor to bandage her wound. Her wound wasn't deep, so the doctor didn't say anything. Hello. It's you? Hong Dui was looking for the victim, but when he saw Shi Shang, his mouth twitched. Didn't this girl just leave the police station? Shi Shang looked down at her arm that was wrapped like a dumpling and didn't look at Hong Dui. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Hong Dui covered his mouth with his hand and cleared his throat. Miss Bu, I want to ask you a few questions. I hope you can cooperate. I don't know him. I'm in a good mood for helping others. Shang spat out a few words without looking up. Hong Dui was dumbfounded. What the hell was this? It took him a while to realize that she was answering the question he was about to ask. She knew the routine. Hong Dui asked a few questions. Shang's answers were very simple and didn't make any mistakes. Leave your contact number. If there's anything, the police can contact you, Hong Dui said. Shang left the original owner's phone number. She walked a few steps and turned back. She looked at Hong Dui seriously. Can you send me back? I don't have any money. Hong Dui was speechless. Hong Dui asked someone to send Shang home. Hong Dui, look at this. A police officer rushed over and handed a laptop to Hong Dui. The computer was playing the surveillance video of the bus. Most of the people on the bus had gotten off, and the cute girl slowly walked to the door. She was about to go down, but just as she was about to lift her foot, she saw the woman on the ground and changed her mind. However, all he heard was "go to hell." Then, a truck crashed into the bus. Captain Hong, this young lady is really strange. As soon as she finished speaking, the truck crashed into her. Hong Dui repeatedly checked the short video. What's going on with the truck? The police officer quickly replied, he was driving when he was tired. He mistook the brake for the accelerator when he turned the corner and rushed over. There's nothing suspicious about it. If it weren't for the fact that the criminal had stabbed the knife into his abdomen due to the collision, this young lady would have been the prime suspect. It's just a coincidence. Don't make wild guesses. When Hong Dui said this, he frowned. Was it really a coincidence? The case was closed very quickly. The culprit was a wanted serial killer who had caused a lot of commotion recently. The woman recognized him, and that was why the scene on the bus happened. The woman didn't die, but her injuries were quite serious. She could recover with some rest. The criminal didn't die either. The knife didn't stab into his vital parts, so he was still alive. However, the murder case he had committed was enough to get him a life sentence. Shang turned off the TV and rubbed his chin, deep in thought. It seemed that words couldn't kill people directly, even the most vicious people couldn't. That made sense. If words could kill people, wouldn't she be invincible? Shang felt that this skill needed to be explored. Maybe she could become a psychic? Shang went into the original owner's room and searched for her computer. He opened the web page and searched for An Chen. All kinds of information popped up. An Chen was indeed good-looking. He was sunny and handsome with a little arrogance. He was the most popular image nowadays. The most popular one was An Chen's new song, Time and You. He clicked on the play button. An Chen's voice was a little deep and magnetic. He sang love songs very well. But this song, it was a little old-fashioned and needed a clearer and more ethereal voice to sing. An Chen's singing ruined it. An Chen was famous. Although this song was popular, it wasn't popular enough to be a household name. Shang rested his chin on his hand and tapped on the keyboard. Yin Baobao took the original manuscript. She couldn't sue Yin Baobao even if she wanted to. Did she have to steal it back? Shang tried to find the original owner's inspiration for this song. But she found nothing. It happened again. Damn it. She was tricked again. Time and You. The song sounded like it was about love, but the lyrics weren't. This song had nothing to do with love. Ring ring ring. The phone in the living room rang and interrupted Shang's thoughts. She glanced at the living room. Who was calling at this time? Shang got up and walked to the living room. He picked up the phone. Before he spoke, the person on the other end of the line started talking. Brother Yu, bad news. Brother Xia is fighting with someone at the Tonight Club. Come quickly. It was very noisy on the other end. The person speaking was very anxious and spoke very quickly. After a while, he didn't hear a response. He called out anxiously, Brother you? My uncle isn't here, Shishang said calmly. Uncle? The person on the other end of the line didn't react. After a while he said, Are you little Guai? In the past, the original owner never spoke, let alone answered the phone. The person on the other end of the line was naturally surprised. What the hell was little Guai? Shishang took a while to remember that the people around Yu Shang liked to call her that. They said she was cute and obedient. Yes. Ah. The person on the other end of the line suddenly exclaimed. But it wasn't because of Shishang's words. It was because the fight had affected him. The phone was filled with noise. There were all kinds of cursing and shouting. Shishang listened for a while. The person on the other end didn't say anything. She hung up. She thought for a while and called Yu Sheng. But Yu Sheng's phone was turned off. No wonder the call came to her house. Shishang called Yu Shang's company. The company receptionist said that Yu Shang wasn't in the company. He was on a plane to deal with an artist's emergency. Shishang had just hung up when the person on the other end of the line called again. Little Guai, do you know where Brother Yu is? Is he at home? If he is, ask Brother Yu to come quickly. Otherwise, someone will die. Stop calling. Little Guai, can you hear me? Shishang said calmly, Uncle is on a business trip. He's on a plane. The person on the other end of the line exclaimed, What? Business trip? At this time? It's over, it's over. He muttered a few words. Shishang only heard a bang and then the line went dead. Shishang shrugged innocently. Chapter 805. Shishang hung up the phone and went back to her room to listen to music. She did not have the habit of meddling in other people's business. Shishang didn't know when she fell asleep as she listened. The doorbell suddenly rang, waking her up. She looked at the computer in a daze. She rubbed her hair and went to open the door. A bespectacled man was supporting a drunk man. Seeing the door open, the bespectacled man heaved a sigh of relief. Xiao Guai, it's great that you're home. Shishang. She remembered this voice. It was the voice of the person who had called to say that something had happened. It seemed to be Yu Shang's assistant. His surname was Feng, but the original owner did not know his name. She only heard Yu Shang call him Assistant Feng. Brother Yu asked me to send Brother Xia here to hide. He will deal with him when he comes back. Xiao Guai, let me in first. Assistant Feng was a little out of breath. He looked very disheveled and there were bloodstains on his body. Shishang frowned. She took out her phone and called Yu Sheng. Yu Sheng picked up quickly. Xiao Guai, is Assistant Feng here? Let them in first. If you're not used to it, Assistant Feng can send you back to school. Got it, Shishang answered softly. Before Yu Shang could respond, Shishang had already hung up the phone and let the two men in. The man who was supported by Assistant Feng had a strong smell of alcohol on him, but there was also a scent that she was familiar with. Shishang frowned. She reached out to support the man and helped him to the sofa. The moment she touched the man, the weak scent immediately became stronger. Shishang narrowed her eyes. Who hit him? Brother Xia got into a fight with someone. Those guys have already run away. But I'm afraid that the paparazzi will take pictures. Tomorrow. Assistant Feng shook his head. It was over. It was really over. Assistant Feng's tone changed. Xiao Guai, I have to deal with something over there. Go back to your room. Don't worry about him. Shishang nodded slightly. Assistant Feng left in a hurry. Shishang stared at the unconscious man on the sofa and felt a headache coming on. He was so King miserable again. What happened to being the big boss? You're actually the female lead, right? Shishang sighed and went to the bathroom to get a clean towel. He reeked of alcohol and blood. Shishang turned him over so that he could lie more comfortably. His hair was a little long and covered his eyebrows and eyes. Shishang brushed his hair aside, revealing a handsome face. This face. The host was no stranger to it. Xia Ling. 2 years ago, he was the face of the popular group, Glitter. But now, the group no longer exists. Ever since the group disbanded, Xia Ling's anti-fans could almost circle the earth a few times. There were people on the internet who dissed him every day. As for the dazzling combination, among them was the male lead, An Chen. After the group disbanded, Xia Ling was slandered to the point that she was useless. However, An Chen was extremely popular. This time, even more people started to slander Xia Ling. They felt that Xia Ling had been a burden to An Chen in the past. Shi Shang wanted to change Xia Ling's clothes, but someone grabbed his hand the moment he stretched it out. Xia Ling, who had her eyes closed just now, had opened her eyes. Her eyes were a little cold, like the surface of a frozen lake. However, there was also a hint of stubbornness in her eyes. She stared at Shi Shang for a moment and suddenly flung her hand away. Get lost. Shi Shang. My CI is amazing. She even dared to yell at I. Did she think that I was willing to serve her? Shi Shang threw the towel down and got up to walk into the room. As soon as she took a step, someone grabbed her wrist and pulled her onto the sofa. The man reeked of alcohol and blood. Don't leave me. Xia Ling buried her head in Shi Shang's neck. Her voice was very soft and she sounded a little tired. Don't leave me. Shi Shang. Didn't you tell I to get lost? You're going to get beaten up for being so fickle. After hugging for a while, Xia Ling raised her head in confusion and held Shi Shang's face. Who are you? There was obvious drunkenness in his eyes. He was King drunk. Me? I'm your girlfriend. Have you forgotten? Shi Shang saved his face. Why? You don't want to take responsibility anymore? Xia Ling shook her head. No, I don't have a girlfriend. Women are troublesome. Then he asked again, Are you really my girlfriend? The drunkenness in his eyes became more obvious. Without waiting for Shi Shang to answer, he continued to answer his own question. I don't have a girlfriend. You're not. He suddenly pushed Shi Shang away. Shi Shang almost knocked into the coffee table beside him. She sat on the floor, probably laughing out of anger. Xia Ling propped herself up and staggered to the floor. She looked around. Where's the toilet? I want to go to the toilet. Shi Shang wanted to strangle her. She calmed herself down and got up from the floor. She pointed to the side. Over there. Xia Ling walked in the direction Shi Shang pointed. When she passed by Shi Shang, she suddenly hooked her arm around Shi Shang's neck and blew a breath of alcohol on Shi Shang's face. Let's go together. I like the smell of you. Who the hell wants to go to the toilet with you? Xia Ling did not give Shi Shang a chance. He forcefully dragged Shi Shang into the toilet. Shi Shang wanted to strangle her even more now. Xia Ling leaned against the door and pulled at his pants with all his might. However, he could not pull them off after a long time. His face was slightly red as he looked helplessly at Shi Shang. Help me. Shi Shang. If it weren't for the fact that you're Feng Ci, I would have beaten you up long ago. Shi Shang went forward and helped him undo his pants. Thank you. Xia Ling walked towards the urinal. Shi Shang was really afraid that he would fall from his wobbly posture. Fortunately, he did not. After Xia Ling finished his major life event, he did not even look at Shi Shang and walked out of the toilet as if he was sleepwalking. When Shi Shang went out, Xia Ling had already fallen asleep on the sofa. Xia Ling opened his heavy eyelids and stared at the white ceiling for a long time without moving. After a long while, he reached out and rubbed his forehead. The hangover made his head hurt, and his body hurt even more. It was as if he had been beaten up. Xia Ling felt that something was wrong under the blanket. He lifted the blanket to take a look, then put it back down. 3 seconds later, he looked under the blanket again. His face, which was originally flushed, immediately darkened. He was naked. Naked. What did he do when he was drunk last night? No, what did someone do to him when he was drunk last night? Xia Ling looked around. He did not recognize this room. It was not a hotel room. What was this place? Click. Xialing heard the door open. He quickly wrapped the blanket around himself and looked at the door. A girl with a baby face walked in. Who are you? Oh, did you lose your memory? Shang slammed the door shut with a mischievous smile on his face. Last night, you were still calling me your little darling. How did you forget about me when you woke up? Xialing felt as if he had been struck by lightning. After a long while, he said in a trembling voice, Why would I like a woman like you? Xialing was going to be beaten up. Ha ha ha. Chapter 806. Yusheng only started lecturing Xialing after confirming that Shang was fine. Xialing didn't seem to have any intention of repentance at all as Yusheng's lecturing went in one ear and out the other. See for yourself. Yusheng suddenly took out his phone, opened the entertainment news and threw it at Xialing. Look at what you've done. Xialing looked at the phone and said nonchalantly, It's not my first time anyway. It doesn't matter if I do it one more time or one less time. Xialing. Yusheng was furious. Do you still want to be in this industry? Look at what you've become. Yusheng was Xialing's manager when he was popular. He had watched him from his glory days to his downfall. Xialing remained silent. Suddenly, he sneered. Should I be like En Chen? He got up and walked towards the door. I'm not him. Xialing, stop right there. Your apartment is full of paparazzi. Where do you think you're going? Xialing ignored Shang's angry roar and walked out. He closed the door and saw the girl who said she was going to school. She was leaning against the wall and looking at him. The faint smile on her face dissipated the frustration in Xialing's heart. He still said fiercely, Aren't you going to school? School is not as important as you. Xialing snorted. She had betrayed him just now. Xialing walked towards the stairs. Shang looked at the elevator. This was the 15th floor. Why didn't he take the elevator? Xialing's figure disappeared at the top of the stairs. Shang had no choice but to chase after him. Wait for me. The stairs were very quiet. Xialing walked very slowly with one hand in his pocket. Shang caught up to him in a few steps and reached out to grab his other hand that was hanging by his side. Xialing glanced at her and wanted to shake her hand off. But when he saw the smile on her face, he suddenly couldn't bear to do it. Yes, he couldn't bear to do it. And he couldn't bear to part with her. Are you unhappy? Shang tilted his head and asked him. No. Shang sneered. You look like someone owes you 8 million yuan. You're still denying it? Xialing glared at her. Don't follow me if you want to talk. I won't say. Xialing took her to the basement and took out a car key from his trouser pocket. Shang's mouth twitched. If she remembered correctly, Yusheng put it on the table when he came back. When did he take it away? Xialing drove directly to a bar. He was probably a regular. Even though it was not business hours, the other parties still let him in. In a dark corner, Xialing drank one glass after another. Shang propped up his chin and looked at him, not intending to stop him. Do you want a drink? Xialing suddenly passed the wine glass to Shang. Shang took it and took a sip. It didn't taste good, so she returned it to Xialing. It's useless. Xialing sneered and drank the wine in Shang's glass. He didn't dislike her. Xialing was so frightened by this thought that she drank a few more cups. He actually didn't hate this girl. Xialing stayed in the bar until business hours. More and more people came in. Shang was shocked by Xialing's ferocious drinking style. Shang sat down. Mr. Xia, if you continue drinking like this, I will sleep with you tonight. Xialing's hand paused. He lowered his eyes, his long eyelashes hiding his emotions. Do you like me that much? Yes, I like you very much. Xialing clenched his fists and drank the wine in his glass again. He said sarcastically, You don't know who I am. How can you like me? You don't know who I am either. Shang's voice was drowned out by the deafening music. She propped up her chin and continued to watch Xia Ling drink. She decided that she would sleep with him tonight. He was hers anyway. She would sleep with him sooner or later. Song Mo, what are you doing here? It's none of your business. Song Mo, come with me. Let go of me. The quarrel came from beside Shi Shang. He turned to look at the two people who were pulling each other. One of them was wearing a mask. The girl who was being pulled was trying to break free from the man. Song Mo, stop fooling around. The man dragged the girl out of the bar. Just as Shi Shang retracted his gaze, Xia Ling suddenly stood up and followed the two men out of the bar. Outside the bar, the girl hugged a pillar and refused to let go. The people who were entering and leaving looked at her strangely. Who are you to control me? I'm not going with you. Song Mo. The man seemed to be exasperated. He reached out to pull the girl's hand away. Let's go back and talk. Don't make a scene here. Xia Ling didn't go forward. He stood at the door and watched. Song Mo was the female lead's name. The man with the mask must be the male lead. Why were the two of them pulling each other here? Wasn't the male lead with Yin Bao Bao at this time? Shi Shang had just thought of Yin Bao Bao when he saw a woman dressed flamboyantly in high heels running over. And Chen, why are you here? Song Mo. Yin Bao Bao looked at the woman who was hugging the pillar in surprise. Song Mo took the opportunity to break free from Chen and took a few steps back. Slap. Song Mo was a little stunned by the slap. She took a while to react and looked at Chen with red eyes. Chen was pulling Yin Bao Bao. Bao Bao, what are you doing? Is she still pestering you? Yin Bao Bao pointed at Song Mo. Song Mo, how can you be so shameless? I'm still here and you're seducing Brother Chen. I'm not. Song Mo gritted her teeth. She didn't pester Chen. He came to her himself. You're still lying. Yin Bao Bao raised her hand to hit Song Mo again. Just as the slap was about to land on Song Mo's face, a hand suddenly appeared and grabbed her wrist. When Yin Bao Bao saw the person who stopped her, her expression cracked and she panicked. Why was she here? Ever since she got someone to kidnap her, there had been no news. She had been on tenterhooks these days. Who knew that she would see her here? Xiaoming, why are you here? Yin Bao Bao smiled like a big sister. You haven't been coming to class recently. Are you not feeling well? Yin Bao Bao observed Shi Shang's expression. She shouldn't know about that. I'm in good health. Senior, are you disappointed? Shi Shang let go of Yin Bao Bao's hand and smiled faintly. Xiaoming, what are you talking about? Of course I. Yin Bao Bao looked hurt. The next second, she said in surprise, You spoke? Is there anything strange about me speaking? Or do you not want me to speak? Aren't you silent? Yin Bao Bao's heart was in a mess. What if she told her about that? She wasn't afraid when she didn't speak before. After all, writing wasn't as easy to explain as speaking. Yin Bao Bao looked at Chen guiltily. Xiaoming, Brother Chen and I have something to do. We'll talk to you another day. Shi Shang's lips split into a sinister smile. Be careful on the way back, senior sister. You might run into some misfortune. Yin Bao Bao felt even more strange. She pulled Chen and left. Chen looked at Song Mo apologetically. Song Mo lowered her head and pretended not to see. Chapter 807. There are so many good men in the world. Why hang on to one tree? You can try the whole forest. Shi Shang patted Song Mo on the shoulder. Thank you. Song Mo did not know the original host, but if it were not for her, she would have been humiliated by Yin Bao Bao. Shi Shang did not like the female lead. After saying this, he went back to Xia Ling. Xia Ling snorted. Why hang on to a tree like me? Because I like it. Why was this man being so arrogant? Xia Ling glanced at her and went back to the bar to continue drinking. Shi Shang was confused. What was this guy doing out there? Taking a break? Xia Ling did not give up until the bar ended in the early hours of the morning. When he left the bar, Shi Shang saw Song Mo sitting alone in a corner. Shi Shang thought about the plot and suddenly grabbed Xia Ling. "Wait for me." "Troublesome," Xia Ling said with disdain, but stopped. Shi Shang ran to the bar counter, took out some money and asked the waitress to send Song Mo home. The waitress was about to get off work. She could earn more money by sending someone home. So when An Chen came back, Song Mo had already left. Xia Ling was drunk, so Shi Shang could only drive. Soothing music was playing in the car. Xia Ling was very sober and did not have any intention of getting drunk. No one knew what he was thinking. He curled up in the front passenger seat and looked out at the neon lights flashing by outside. After a long time, Xia Ling turned around and asked faintly, "Do you have a driver's license?" "No." The original host did not know how to drive. How could she have a driver's license? "Huh? Are you trying to drag me down with you? Is it not good?" Xia Ling said after a long while, "I don't want to die." Shi Shang turned to look at Xia Ling, but Xia Ling was looking out of the window. She could not see his expression. There were paparazzi waiting at Xia Ling's place even in the early hours of the morning. Shi Shang did not dare to send him home, so he asked him to stay in the car for the night. Shi Shang leaned against the car door. The lights in the distance were flickering in his eyes. "Hey!" Someone suddenly knocked on the car door. Shi Shang blinked, turned around, and opened the car door. "Come in." Xia Ling frowned at her. "What are you doing?" Shi Shang held on to the car door. The light in the car shone on her face, making her look unusually soft. "Come in," Xia Ling repeated. Shi Shang got into the car. Xia Ling did not say anything and just sat there. After a long time he said, "As your girlfriend, let me hug you." Shi Shang moved closer to Xia Ling. Xia Ling reached out and pulled her into his arms. Just like that night, he hugged her and buried his head in her neck. He liked the smell on her body very much. It was as if hugging her made him feel less lonely. The corners of Xia Ling's mouth curled up, but she quickly restrained herself. Xia Ling maintained this posture for a long time until Shi Shang's phone rang. Shi Shang took out her phone and saw the name on the screen. She broke away from Xia Ling, leaned against his shoulder, and answered the call. "Senior." Yin Baobao was actually fine? Had the soul language lost its effect? "Xiaoming, are you free now?" Yin Baobao's voice was gentle. "I have something to talk to you about." "I'm sorry, Senior. It's so late. I'm afraid you're going to kill me for money." What else did she want to meet up in the middle of the night? Yin Baobao's face was contorted with anger, but she had to speak in a gentle tone. "Xiaoming, is there a misunderstanding? Let's meet up. I can explain to you face to face if there's any misunderstanding." "Xiaoming, I don't want this to affect our relationship." "The relationship you're talking about, are you talking about using me?" "Xiaoming, what's wrong?" Yin Baobao exclaimed. "When did I use you?" "Don't listen to other people's nonsense. Since you've taken someone else's things, you'll have to return them in the end, Senior." Shi Shang emphasized the last two words. Before Yin Baobao could say anything, the call was hung up. She dialed back, but there was only a cold tone. Yin Baobao was so angry that she almost smashed her phone. Did she know something? So what if she knew? She had no power or influence. How could she win against her? Yin Baobao calmed down again. She stood up and suddenly staggered. "Damn it!" Yin Baobao gasped in pain. She lowered her head and looked at her feet. Her ankle was red and swollen. When she came back just now, someone poured water in the corridor and she sprained her ankle. Shi Shang switched off his phone and put it back in his pocket. Xia Ling rested his chin on her shoulder. The car was very quiet just now. He must have heard everything Yin Baobao said. "What did she use you for?" Shi Shang looked expectant. "Are you going to take revenge for me?" "Don't think too much." Xia Ling let go of her. He paused. "The Yin family is very powerful." "So what?" Shi Shang retorted. Xia Ling reached out and lifted Shi Shang's chin. His lips curled into a mischievous smile. You can't win against the Yin family. Shi Shang met Xia Ling's eyes and said arrogantly, What if I win? Xia Ling retracted his hand. You have the final say. I can say whatever I want. Shi Shang held Xia Ling's arm and whispered into his ear, Even if I have sex with you? Xia Ling leaned back slightly. When the conditions are right, success will come naturally. Don't you think it's bad for you to threaten me like this? You think I'm threatening you? Aren't you? Wasn't she threatening him when she asked him to be her boyfriend? Shi Shang sat back down and sneered. Then I'm sorry. I'll threaten you many more times in the future. You have to get used to it. Once you got on Ai's boat, don't even think about getting off. Xia Ling. Why was her reaction a little strange? The two of them did not speak and sat in silence until dawn. Shi Shang drove Xia Ling to the hotel and took a taxi to school. Xia Ling lay on the hotel bed for a long time, but he could not fall asleep. He turned on the hotel computer and habitually logged into Weibo. There was still a lot of criticism under the homepage. The hottest news related to him was that he had hit someone. Because of this incident, he gained another wave of anti-fans. Xia Ling opened the search interface and typed in Bu Meng. There were a lot of results, but he could not find anything. Xia Ling rested his chin on his hand and thought for a while. He deleted the two words Bu Meng and typed in Chen Yan. The page immediately jumped. The first one was the verified Weibo. Xia Ling clicked in. Her Weibo was very clean. She had only reposted a few songs and had 0 followers, but she had a lot of fans. Bu Meng, Chen Yan. Xia Ling did not expect that these two seemingly unrelated people were the same person. Xia Ling followed her. There were more than 100 people in his list of followers, but most of them were added by his previous company. He was definitely the first one to add his own followers. Therefore, after he followed Chen Yan's account, the anti-fans immediately went crazy. They dug into Chen Yan's account several times. #hashtag today's cumin-flavored votes hashtag Beixinggu E in the book review section on 12/29/2016 double the monthly votes at the end of the month. Cherub, come and send me on the list. Chapter 808. Shi Shang saw Yin Baobao at school. She was limping, but she was beautiful. Even when she was limping, she still looked good. Xiao Meng. Yin Baobao waved at Shi Shang with a smile. Shi Shang glanced at Yin Baobao and walked in the other direction. This woman was definitely up to no good. Yin Baobao was unhappy that Shi Shang ignored her, but she couldn't show it on her face. She limped after Shi Shang and asked with concern, Xiao Meng, what's wrong? Shi Shang was a little fast, and Yin Baobao struggled to keep up. Xiao Meng, wait for me. Xiao Meng, why are you talking all of a sudden? Shi Shang said coldly, I've always been able to talk. Yin Baobao obviously knew that she could talk, but she was asking why she could talk all of a sudden. Yin Baobao didn't know the exact reason why the original owner didn't talk. It only said that she could talk, but for some reason, she didn't want to. Xiao Meng, you can tell me if there's anything. You're making me uncomfortable. Yin Baobao blocked Shi Shang. Shi Shang stopped in his tracks and said angrily, You don't need me to remind you of what you've done, do you? Senior. Xiao Meng, what are you talking about? Yin Baobao looked innocent. You found someone to kidnap me and even wanted to take nude photos of me? Huh. You're pretty good. Do you think I can be bullied so easily? Yin Baobao's expression changed. She knew. She really knew. Don't panic. Even if she knew, she couldn't do anything to her without evidence. Yin Baobao's eyes turned and she glanced at the students beside her. Just as she was about to reach out to Shi Shang, the girl opposite her suddenly said, Senior, I think the lake water suits you very well. What? Yin Baobao was confused. Give it back to me, give it back to me. Hey, be careful. Voila. Everything happened too quickly. Yin Baobao was knocked into the lake before she could react. Shishang stood on the shore and looked at Yin Baobao, who kept struggling. He smiled evilly. This idiot wanted to trick I. The student who bumped into Yin Baobao hurriedly threw away his bicycle and jumped into the artificial lake to save her. Cough, cough. Yin Baobao drank a few mouthfuls of water and coughed uncomfortably. Her clothes clung tightly to her skin, outlining her perfect figure. The surrounding boys were all excited. Some of them even took out their phones to take pictures. A wet photo of the famous school bell. Yin Baobao covered her breasts with her hands and shouted angrily at the surrounding boys, "What are you looking at? And what are you looking at? Scram!" Everyone knew that Yin Baobao had a backer, so they didn't dare to provoke her. Yin Baobao then looked at Shishang and questioned loudly, "Bu Meng, is this your doing? Senior sister, be reasonable. This senior was the one who overturned his car and hit you. How can you push the blame to me? You called me Xiao Meng when you were using me, but you called me Bu Meng when I exposed you. Senior sister, you can't be like this." The senior who flipped over. How could he have known that he would crash into someone and send her into the artificial lake? If it wasn't you, what did you mean by that? Yin Baobao remembered what she said when she was knocked down. Shishang shrugged. It's the literal meaning. Senior sister, you're already a university student. Why are you still acting like you haven't graduated from primary school? Yin Baobao gritted her teeth. Bu Meng, this isn't over. Bu Meng, you forced me to do this. She knocked away the senior who was blocking her way and quickly ran away. Shishang shouted from behind, "Senior sister, the weather is cold. Don't catch a cold." The senior who flipped over was dumbfounded. What was going on? After class, Shishang took out his phone to play a game. As soon as he tapped on the screen, he was stunned by a series of notifications. It took him a while to react. He swiped down the menu and saw that it was a notification on Weibo. She hadn't seen the original owner's Weibo before. She clicked on it and saw that it was a verified account. Well, with the original owner's current fame, having a verified account wasn't a big deal. There wasn't much activity on Weibo before. Why was it like crazy today? Shishang clicked on the messages and saw that most of them were tagging her. Shishang looked at them for a while before he figured out what was going on from the various scoldings. It turned out that Xia Ling, who had the most anti-fans, was following her. Therefore, she was unjustly implicated and was exposed by the anti-fans. Her fans couldn't stand it and started to fight. Shishang found Xia Ling on the list of followers. "Chen Yan, why are you following me? Do you have a crush on me?" Xia Ling was online and replied to her immediately. "Xia Ling, little darling, I found out your secret." "Chen Yan, what secret? Am I Chen Yan? What kind of secret is this?" "Xia Ling, you're hiding it from brother Yu. Isn't it a secret?" "Chen Yan, alright, forget it. Mr. Xia, do you want me to seal your mouth with my body or be killed by me?" "Xia Ling, is there a third option?" "Chen Yan, sleep with me." "Xia Ling, other than this, couldn't she be a little more ambitious?" Shishang scrolled through Weibo and found that there were many people who were scolding Xia Ling. "Chen Yan, do you have all the anti-fans in the world?" "Xia Ling, humph." A few seconds after Xia Ling replied, Shishang saw that he had posted a new Weibo. "Xia Ling, I advise you not to go overboard. What I do is my own business. Who do you think you are? Just based on this attitude, I'll definitely become an anti-fan." Shishang scrolled through Xia Ling's Weibo and found that each of his posts was filled with all kinds of negative comments. It made people want to strangle him. As soon as Xia Ling posted on Weibo, all kinds of anti-fans swarmed in and attacked him. Shishang had been slandered before, but she had never met someone who had been slandering her as much as Xia Ling. He didn't have many fans. Even that face of his couldn't save his haters. Chen Yan, fighting, being late, acting like a big shot, attacking fans. "My Mr. Xia, you're amazing. Why don't you go to heaven?" "Xia Ling, follow me." Chen Yen. Shi Shang clicked on the main page to follow him. The 0 followers list immediately jumped to 1. This caused the original owner's fans to explode. Shi Shang ignored the ads and comments that popped up. Chen Yen. Come and pick me up. Xiaoling. No. Chen Yen. I'll kill you if you don't come. Xiaoling. Xiaoling asked for the location of her school and took a taxi here. If he really drove here, he would probably be beaten to death. Xiaoling did not know what was wrong with him. He always felt that he was unusually calm when he was with her. He pondered for a long time with a sullen face. He felt that he might be in love. His rationality told him that this was very strange and sudden. After all, no one would fall in love with a girl they had just met. However, a voice deep in his heart told him that it was not wrong. It was her. What are you thinking about? Shi Shang waved his hand in front of Xiaoling's eyes. Xiaoling grabbed her hand. There was a hint of indulgence in his tone. Stop fooling around. I'm thinking about life. Chapter 809. Hidden Mission, Heavenly King of the Music Industry. Mission Character. Xiaoling Mission Objective. Make Xiaoling the Heavenly King of the Music Industry. Haha. Shi Shang replied to the system coldly. I don't want to do any missions. Goodbye. Host, you will be beaten up for being so willful. The system wanted to give her a side mission, but it thought that the host didn't even want to do any hidden missions, let alone side missions. It would look for a chance to check it out. If it didn't work out, it would deduct points. She wanted to buy a space battleship. How could she not earn points? Xiaoling brought Shi Shang to a private restaurant. They were probably regulars, so she brought them to a private room. After Xiaoling sat down, she took out her phone and threw it to Shi Shang. What are you doing? Xiaoling put her feet on the chair beside her. There's information about the Yin family on it. Can't you help me deal with them? Other people's domineering CEOs could destroy a country in minutes. Xiaoling sneered. Do you think I'm a rich second-generation heir or a first-generation heir? Aren't you? The plot didn't mention Xiaoling's background, but she would go against the male lead in the later stages. She didn't have a good ending. Xiaoling dragged the chair to Shi Shang's side and put her hand on his shoulder. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not. So do you still want to be my girlfriend? It's okay. I'll take care of you. Xiaoling's mouth twitched. She gritted her teeth and said, Who wants you to take care of me? Shi Shang said seriously, Then you can take care of me. Xiaoling was silent for a moment. She took out a card from her pocket. Don't charge me too much. I can't afford it. She didn't have any source of income now. The money in the card was from his previous savings. Shi Shang took the card without hesitation. Xiaoling rubbed Shi Shang's head and started to order dishes. Shi Shang looked at the information on Xiaoling's phone. It was similar to what she had, but there were a few things that Shi Shang didn't know. Yin Shiji has 2 children outside. Although Yin Baobao is the heir on the surface, Yin Shiji is more inclined to give his assets to the children of his mistress, Xiaoling said. Cut it at the root? If Yin Baobao lost her identity as the heir, she would be nothing. Xiaoling gave Shi Shang a clever look. Shi Shang really wanted to undermine her. Wasn't this her usual style? This guy must have been with her for a long time and subconsciously learned it. In the past, Feng Ci didn't have this skill. Shi Shang wanted to find a way to get in Chen's song back, but she didn't have the original manuscript, so she couldn't sue him directly. Therefore, she decided to let In Chen say it himself. Shi Shang secretly prepared to kidnap the male lead. There was nothing simpler than this. However, when she went there, she happened to see another group of people kidnapping In Chen. Shi Shang. If she went over and said, Hey, will they kill me if I form a team to kidnap them? She definitely would. Shi Shang decided to follow them. She followed the kidnapper's car out of the city and arrived at a farmhouse in the suburbs. They locked In Chen in a room and then went to another room. There were people guarding outside the room. Shi Shang went around to the back of the house. There were no windows, so he couldn't get in. Shi Shang looked up, took out his iron sword and flew up. He lifted the roof tiles and looked down. And Chen was lying on the ground, unconscious. Shi Shang lifted some tiles and jumped down from the roof. After checking that there were no surveillance cameras in the room, he went to grab the male lead. And Chen was probably drugged, for Shi Shang had to expend a lot of effort to wake him up. She first saw a baby face and then saw double. It took her a while to focus. And Chen moved and realized that he was tied up. He immediately glared at the woman squatting in front of him. Where was this place? Wasn't this the girl he saw outside the bar last time? What are you shouting for? Shi Shang hit in Chen's head. Do you want the people outside to hear you? And Chen frowned and quickly calmed down. He signaled Shi Shang to tear off the tape on his mouth. Shi Shang tore off the tape on his mouth. You were kidnapped too? And Chen didn't shout. It was useless to shout at a time like this. No. Are you in cahoots with the kidnappers? And Chen frowned even harder. You're thinking too much. I didn't kidnap you. No, I was going to kidnap you, but someone beat me to it. So I'm here to save you. And Chen. Why did she sound so contradictory? Shi Shang took out his phone and opened Weibo. What's your Weibo account? And Chen. What was she doing? Live streaming him being kidnapped? And Chen stayed silent with a cold face. Then he saw the girl opposite him take out a dagger and put it against his neck. What's your Weibo account? Was this woman crazy? And Chen's breathing was a bit unsteady. 3 seconds later, he told her his account. Password. And Chen glared at him. What do you want? Shi Shang looked serious. I'm helping you post on Weibo. And Chen. Did she kidnap him just to post on Weibo? Shi Shang seemed to know what Chen was thinking. He immediately defended himself. I didn't kidnap you. Don't blame me. I'm just trying to steal something. Was this how he used the word steal? And Chen quickly looked around. He didn't know where he was, nor did he know what this woman wanted to do by asking for his Weibo account and password. Go and see if he's awake. A voice suddenly sounded outside. And Chen looked at the door. The door was pushed open and the person outside looked inside. He's awake. That's strange. How did the tape come off? I'll put it back on for him. The person who spoke came in and put the tape back on Chen. He looked around cautiously but didn't see anything. Then he looked puzzled again. And Chen looked at the girl standing behind the person with a strange expression. She was looking down at her phone, but that person didn't seem to see her. He didn't know her. He just acted as if he didn't see her. And Chen's face turned pale. Was she a human or a ghost? And Chen suddenly struggled and gestured for the person to look behind him. Shi Shang looked up and gave Chen a strange smile. Don't make a fuss. We'll let you go when we get the money. There's someone behind you. The person ignored Chen and opened the door to leave. After the person left, and Chen's face turned pale. Did he meet a ghost? Shi Shang made sure that the person outside was far away. He squatted in front of Chen and held the phone in front of him. Read this or... Shi Shang reached out and pretended to strangle Chen's neck. And Chen quickly read the words on the phone. Shi Shang tore off the tape again. What the hell are you? Why can't that person see you? Shi Shang glared at him. You're the ghost. Read it. Hurry up. You're slandering me. How could he say that he stole the song from someone else? How could he survive in the industry? Where did you get the lyrics? My baby gave them to me. Humph, she stole them from me. And Chen's expression changed. What evidence do you have? Chapter 8:10. And Chen wasn't willing, so Shi Shang gave him a good beating. In the end, and Chen recited the song according to Shi Shang's instructions and was deeply remorseful. His expression was not on point, so he was beaten up. Shi Shang took a video and sent it out within Chen's account. The moment the video was uploaded, it immediately attracted the attention of the fans. They were all dumbfounded when they saw what Chen said. The fans of the original owner were furious. How could he steal their goddess's song? How shameless! Don't even think about going back and retracting your confession. If you dare, I will kill you. And Chen's face darkened. Do you think they will believe you? Why not? Because your fan club is huge? Did someone clear your name? And Chen suddenly took a deep breath. I don't know about this. My baby wrote all my songs for me. Shi Shang put away his phone and interrupted Chen. I will call the police for you. Don't worry. Shi Shang left the room, restored the roof, and went to call the police. The police were all fooled by the host. The police followed the route Shi Shang pointed out and soon found the farmhouse. Unfortunately, the leader was Hong Dui again. He looked at the girl sitting on a pile of weeds and the corners of his mouth twitched. Why was it her again? Hong Dui asked someone to take down Shi Shang and looked at her seriously. Miss Bu. Captain Hong. Please tell me, how did you know someone was kidnapped? She was bold enough to follow the kidnappers on her own. She was not afraid of getting into trouble. Thinking about her behavior on the bus, it seemed she was not a big deal. Shi Shang looked honest. Oh, I was going to kidnap him, but someone beat me to it, so I called the police. However, these words made all the police officers fall into a strange silence. This girl must be joking. Miss Bu, don't talk nonsense. Shi Shang shrugged. It was up to her whether she believed it or not. Captain, we have found out that there are 8 of them and they seem to have guns. Captain Hong asked someone to keep an eye on Shi Shang and prevent him from causing trouble. Then he turned around to discuss countermeasures with the others. Shi Shang sat in the police car and waited for about an hour. Gunshots rang out from the farmhouse and lasted for about 2 minutes. And Chen was rescued safely. 3 of the kidnappers were killed, and 5 were captured alive. And Chen was brought out. When he saw Shi Shang, his expression darkened. He said to Hong Dui, she's with the kidnappers. Hong Dui looked at Shi Shang, who was still not nervous. This young lady's appearance was indeed strange, but she was the one who called the police. Who would call the police to arrest their own people? Therefore, Shi Shang was taken back to the police station by Captain Hong. The police station had just received a call from the family, saying that Chen had been kidnapped. Not long after, Hong Dui brought Chen back. Everyone was dumbfounded. Since when was the speed of this case so efficient? Moreover, it wasn't Hong Dui who was dispatched just now. Hong Dui was also speechless. Someone called the police in advance. How could it not be efficient? After the police interrogated the kidnappers that night, it was easy to find out that Shi Shang was not with them. However, Chen insisted that she was with them. Chen's words had no evidence, so the police would definitely not believe him. Why did Chen accuse you of being with the kidnappers? Miss Bu, please tell us honestly. Why were you in the farmhouse? Who knows if he's crazy? He said that I'm the kidnapper. Show me the evidence. The police officer. Why would he ask you if he had evidence? Chen did not mention that Shi Shang posted on Weibo, but the police still saw it when they investigated. The timing of the post did not match. Chen was still tied up at that time. How could he have the time to post on Weibo? At this time, the news of Chen stealing Chen Yan's lyrics had already become a hot topic. Everyone had their own style. As long as the industry insiders did a comparison, they would be able to tell whether the song was written by Chen Yan or not. Shi Shang had already contacted industry experts. As soon as the video was posted, someone posted a comparison article with a detailed explanation. Shi Shang also used Chen Yan's account to post on Weibo, saying that the song was indeed his. He also posted a few lyrics that were not in Chen's song. This was the complete version of Time and You. Shi Shang found the original manuscript on the original owner's bookshelf. If it was not for the original manuscript, she would not have dared to do this. Since things had already developed to this point, it was useless for Chen to deny it. Therefore, he now had to prove that Shi Shang was in cahoots with the kidnappers. This video was the best proof. However, Shi Shang did not deny that she took the video when Chen was kidnapped. Is there a law that says that I can't go in and record a video when someone is kidnapped? The police officer. There really was no law, because no one had ever done this before. This was definitely the first. She dared to sneak in and threaten the hostage to record a video when someone was kidnapped. I admit that I hit him. At most, I'll be detained for a few days and pay some money. If you want to accuse me of kidnapping, it's impossible. The police did not know what to do about this. They invited several experts, but they could not find a suitable crime in the law. Just as Hong Dui was worried sick, someone suddenly told him more unfortunate news. Hong Dui, there's a message from the higher-ups. They want to release the hostage. Release the hostage? Yes. Hong Dui. That little girl really didn't participate in this. Even if she sneaked in and threatened to record a video, she would only be detained for a few days at most. Hong Dui's head hurt. He waved his hand. Let her go. This little girl was really strange. Shi Shang came out of the police station and saw the car parked outside. Xia Ling rolled down the window and honked. Shi Shang jogged into the car. You got me out? How long has it been and you've already gotten yourself into the police station? Xia Ling snorted coldly. The police station is not enough for me to play with. Xia Ling glared at her. What's enough for you to play with? You. Xia Ling pinched her cheeks. If you get yourself into the police station again, I won't care about you anymore. Shi Shang said nonchalantly. Anyway, they can't do anything to me. If they can't, I can still escape from prison. Xia Ling. Who gave this little girl the right to be so arrogant? How did you get me out? Shi Shang inched closer to Xia Ling. Since this fellow isn't some rich second-generation heir or rich person, how can the police let her go? Xia Ling glanced at Shi Shang. A favor. He paused. Don't mess around in the future. I can't get you out safely every time. If there's anything, tell me. I'll help you think of a way. Okay. I want to kill baby Ian. Xia Ling. He wanted to kill people for no reason. This was a lawful society. Baby Ian. The Ians were not easy to deal with. How could he help her kill baby Ian silently? Asterisk the above is pure nonsense. Please don't take it seriously. Chapter 8:11. Shi Shang came home and saw Yu Sheng. She had been here for a long time, but this was the first time she saw Yu Sheng other than the time at the hospital and at home. Little Guai, you're back? Yu Sheng looked up from a pile of documents. Uncle, Shi Shang called out softly. Yu Sheng was stunned. He looked at Shi Shang and only reacted after a while. Little Guai, come here. Yu Sheng knew that the original owner of this body did not know how to speak. Therefore, when he heard Shi Shang suddenly speak last time, he just felt strange. Shi Shang walked to Yu Sheng and sat down opposite him. Uncle. Yu Sheng pushed away the messy documents in front of him and asked with concern, Little Guai, why do you suddenly want to talk? Shi Shang smiled. People have to learn to change when they grow up. I can't stay silent for the rest of my life. Yu Sheng nodded and sighed. You've grown up. When he first came, he was still a child. He did not take good care of him for the past few years. When Yu Sheng thought of this, he suddenly felt a little guilty. Little Guai, it's good that you have grown up and have your own ideas, but you still have to tell me if there's anything. I'm your elder, so I can help you decide. Thank you, Uncle. Yu Sheng smiled. Go back to your room. Shi Shang nodded slightly and went back to his room. He sat on the bed for a while and took out his phone to log in to Weibo. The password was wrong. Shi Shang looked at these words and was a little confused. She did not change the password. She had logged in before. F***CK. Someone hacked her account. Which idiot dared to hack I's account? Shi Shang walked to the desk and turned on her computer. She looked at her account on the web. Her Weibo had turned into a clarification post, saying that her account had been hacked. There was even a picture attached. It was a selfie of Yin Baobao. She said that she did not tell En Chen that she was actually Chen Yan and that En Chen had misunderstood. Shi Shang was speechless. My Yin Baobao is amazing. She even dared to hack her account. Just as Shi Shang was about to hack the account back, Yin Baobao sent her a message. Bu Meng, if you don't want Yu Shang's reputation to be ruined, be obedient. Shi Shang read that sentence over and over again to make sure that Yin Baobao was threatening her. That was great. Shi Shang's fingers danced quickly on the screen. Bring it on if you have the ability. If you dare to ruin his reputation, I dare to ruin your family. How dare you threaten I? Do you think I am that easy to threaten? It's useless to boast. You can't beat me. Bu Meng, accept your fate. Whether I'm bragging or not, you'll know once you try. Shi Shang put down his phone, turned on his computer, and started typing on the keyboard. The whole room was filled with the sound of typing. His phone rang from time to time. She did not take her account back. Instead, she went to the back end and deleted it for her. You want to use it, right? I'll let you use it. Therefore, when Yin Baobao discovered this situation, she was completely dumbfounded. She had just gotten the account not long ago. How could it be cancelled so quickly? The fans were also confused. They were all asking what was going on online. Yin Baobao had her own Weibo account. These people thought that Yin Baobao was Chenyan's fans and went to her Weibo to ask for an explanation. How was Yin Baobao going to explain this? Say that his account was hacked again? Shi Shang had just finished the last few steps when Yu Shang's angry voice suddenly came from outside the door. Xia Ling, are you done fooling around? Xia Ling? When did he come over? Shi Shang opened the door and looked outside. Xia Ling was sitting on the sofa in a casual manner. Yu Shang was standing opposite him, looking very angry. Xia Ling seemed to have sensed Shi Shang's gaze as she turned to look in her direction. After a few seconds, he turned back. I'll go. You have to go even if you don't want to. Yu Shang roared. What did you say? I'll go. Hearing Xia Ling's agreement, Yu Shang sighed in relief. I'm doing this for your own good. You have a good background. Why do you have to make yourself like this in the past 2 years? Xia Ling did not seem to want to listen anymore. He got up and walked out of the door. Yu Shang shook his head and sighed. His eyes were filled with pity and helplessness. Shi Shang took the opportunity when Yu Shang entered the room and sneaked out. He opened the door and saw Xia Ling standing outside. He raised his eyebrows at Shi Shang. There was a smile in his eyes as if he had expected her to come out. What did uncle say to you? An event. Xia Ling held her hand and walked downstairs. He had not participated in events for a long time, but he had to earn money now. You don't have to go if you don't want to. Xia Ling stopped and looked at the corner of the corridor. But I have to support you. He turned around and looked up at Shi Shang, who was a level higher than her. His eyes were full of confusion. I have nothing. Will you leave me? You still have me. The corridor was silent. They looked at each other and the voice-activated lights were turned off. In the darkness, Xia Ling felt the softness on his lips. He reached out and hugged the person who was leaning against him. He sighed and said, I must be crazy. The lingering kiss made the two of them a little confused. Xia Ling lost his balance and took a step back. The sound made the voice-activated lights turn on. The light dispelled the darkness and Xia Ling's impulse. He held Shi Shang's waist and turned his head slightly to calm his heavy breathing. Doesn't it feel good? Xia Ling pressed Shi Shang's head. Stop fooling around. Shi Shang's voice seemed to be bewitching. Do you want to do it again? No. Who asked her to take the initiative? When Xia Ling calmed down, he let go of Shi Shang and held her hand as they continued to walk downstairs. Shi Shang held his arm. Where are we going? To drink. He needed some peace and quiet. Shi Shang. Xia Ling drank almost every day. When she was with him, he was drinking most of the time. But she had never seen him as crazy as the first time. While Shi Shang and Xia Ling were cultivating their relationship, the Yin family was in a mess. Yin Shiji was about to bid for a project when he found out that the other party knew their base price. Yin Shiji found out from the other party that it was his daughter who had leaked the secret. He went home in a rage and beat Yin Baobao without any explanation. He also found a lot of company information on her computer. Yin Shiji was furious. I used my money to support you and this is how you repay me? Huh. Ingrate. Yin Baobao knew that she knew the plot and was ambitious. She knew that Yin Shiji had a child outside. If she didn't plan for herself, she might not have anything in the future. But she didn't leak the secret. Dad, I didn't do it. Someone framed me. Yin Baobao suppressed the anger in her heart and defended herself with an aggrieved expression. Yin Shiji was even angrier. It wasn't you? What happened to the information on your computer? I don't know. Yin Baobao's tears fell. Dad, believe me. I really don't know what happened. My computer is at home and I don't come back often. Anyone could have gotten in. Chapter 8:12. Yin Baobao's explanation didn't make Yin Shiji's anger subside. Instead, it made him even angrier. Look at the good daughter you've brought up. Yin Shiji shouted at a woman at the door. You've done something wrong and you still don't admit it. How are you going to lead this family in the future? After saying this, Yin Shiji strode out of the room. Yin Baobao stood rooted to the ground, clutching her clothes tightly. Didn't Yin Shiji want to give the company to the mistress's child? He didn't even listen to her explanation and directly assumed that she was the one who leaked the secret. Baobao. Mother Yin only dared to come in after Yin Shiji left. She touched Yin Baobao's face with heartache. Does it hurt? Yin Baobao's mother had a soft personality. In front of Yin Shiji, she was even more humble. Yin Baobao couldn't stand her mother's behavior. After being scolded by Yin Shiji just now, Yin Baobao was also angry. She couldn't pretend to be a good daughter anymore. It's all your fault. Yin Baobao pushed her mother away, her face full of disgust. You can't even hold on to your own husband. Baobao. Yin Baobao's mother didn't know that Yin Shiji had an affair. Of course, she knew in her heart and didn't want to admit it. Get out. Yin Baobao shouted at her mother irritably. Baobao, don't blame your father. Get out. Yin Baobao's mother opened her mouth and stammered a few times, but she didn't say a word. Yin Baobao was angry when she saw her like this. She pushed her mother out roughly and slammed the door. Yin Baobao smashed many things in the room to vent her anger. Who framed her? Those two little bastards outside? It must be them. The Yin family was hers. Why should she give it to those two bastards? Before Yin Baobao transmigrated, it was because the mistress had entered the house and caused her mother's death. Therefore, she hated the mistress very much. Yin Baobao rummaged through the mess and found her phone. The light on the screen reflected her slightly distorted face. The viciousness in her eyes seemed to overflow. Hello, it's me. Tie those two bastards up and bring them to me. Same old rules. How's Boomeng? Didn't you say that it would be settled soon? It's been so long. Don't tell me this. I just want results. I'll give you a few more days. Yin Baobao hung up the phone. She glared viciously at the void. Anyone who stood in her way would have to pay the price. At school, Shi Shang was scrolling through the latest news. When she saw the report about the Yin family, she paused for a moment before returning to the main page and sending a message to Xia Ling. You did it. Xia Ling was doing something and only replied after a while. What? Yin family. Yes. Shang wanted to tell him that he didn't have to go through so much trouble, but he didn't want to hurt his wife too much. Shang continued to read the news. He clicked on the entertainment section and saw Xiaoling's name in red and bold. What did he do this time? On the live broadcast of Sounds of Nature, Xiaoling lost her temper and beat up the host. Shang, live streaming. Shang searched for the video of Xiaoling hitting someone on the internet. Because it was a live broadcast, it was not edited. In the beginning, Xiaoling was very cooperative. He answered whatever the host asked. Although his answers were a little harsh, he still continued to record the show. But in the later part of the segment, when the host asked him about the group Glitter 2 years ago, Xiaoling flew into a rage on the spot. Xiaoling lowered her head and sat on the lounge chair. Shang was arguing with a few staff members. Shang's face was full of anger. I reminded you not to mention anything about glitter. You promised me, so why did you bring it up? Brother Yu, don't be angry. The host is new and doesn't know the rules. Let's not pursue this matter. The staff member comforted Shang. Although Xiaoling had countless haters under Shang, he still had many famous artists under him. When Shang heard the staff member's words, he became even angrier. Not pursue this matter? This matter is the responsibility of your production team. You still want to pursue this matter? Yes. It's our fault. That host was indeed new. When they were on the show, they had told the host not to ask about glitter. The host did not listen to the production team because of the ratings. Glitter was a taboo topic to Xiaoling. Whoever dared to mention it would be beaten up. When Shang arrived, Shang was still talking to the staff. Shang suddenly glanced at Shang and was surprised. He didn't even care about the staff. Xiao Guai, why are you here? Shang pointed at Xiaoling. I'm looking for him. Shang looked at Xiaoling, who was sitting at the back, and then at Shang. He was confused. You guys. Why did Xiao Guai suddenly come to look for Xiaoling? He's my boyfriend. Shang didn't intend to hide it. Shang was like a bolt out of the blue. After a while, he found his voice and pulled Shang to a corner. You and Xiaoling? When did it start? It's been a while. Shang felt that he had failed in his duty. He didn't even realize that Xiao Guai was in a relationship. And it was with Xiaoling. Countless words spun in his heart, but he couldn't say them out loud. He looked deeply at Shang. Take him back first and wait for me at home. Xiaoling's head was lowered the whole time. He was holding a cup of cold water in his hand. Shang reached out to take it from his hand, but he suddenly tightened his grip. The paper cup was instantly deformed by his grip and the water inside spilled out. When Xiaoling looked up, his eyes seemed to be covered with frost. It was so cold that it could freeze people. When he saw the person in front of him, he blinked. The frost in his eyes melted like spring snow and disappeared in an instant. Why are you here? Are you scared? Shang looked at him and took the deformed paper cup from his hand. Let's go home. The corner of Xiaoling's mouth curled up slightly. All right. When the two of them left, people pointed at Xiaoling and whispered along the way. That's him. How dare he hit the host in public when he's already in such a mess? How can there be such a bad person? I heard that he's very mean to his fans. The internet is full of his anti-fans now. During the recording today, he was so arrogant that he was late. Does he really think that he's a big star? He made so many of us wait for him. Other than his face, he has no redeeming qualities. My Shang was dragged down by him in the past. Otherwise, he would have been famous all over the country. I don't know who got in through the back door to get on our show. Many people like his face, right? Shang paused and looked at the girl who said that he got in through the back door. The girl frowned in dissatisfaction. She thought that Shang was Xiaoling's assistant and said rudely, "What are you looking at?" Shang said seriously with his baby face, "You're really good looking. Be careful when you go out. It'll be bad if you catch someone's eye." The girl was happy when she heard Shi Shang's praise, but when she heard the latter part, her expression changed. What nonsense are you talking about? Shi Shang continued to look serious. I see that your glabella is dark. You're going to have a bloody disaster soon. Xia Ling urged helplessly. Let's go. Shi Shang spread his hands and shrugged innocently. He caught up with Xia Ling and walked down the stairs with him, leaving behind a group of confused girls. I see that you're in luck with women recently. Ha 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 ha. Vote to solve it. Hashtag ginger-flavored votes today. Hashtag the last day. The last day of 2016. That's right. It's the last day. So monthly votes. Don't keep them. Come on. Give them to me. I'll show you guys PDA. Thank you Cherub for spending New Year's Eve with me. You guys are still so cute in 2017. Chapter 8:13. When Yu Shang returned home, he saw the two of them sitting obediently on the sofa. He glanced at the two of them and walked over with a sullen face. What's wrong with the two of you? The two of them were dating right under his nose. Hit it off? Love at first sight? Shi Shang blurted out these two words. I like her. Xia Ling's answer was simple but firm. Do you think I'll let you be with her? Yu Shang looked at Xia Ling and ignored Shi Shang's answer. Your opinion doesn't matter. Yu Shang glared at him. I'm her guardian. How can my opinion not matter? She doesn't care. Yu Shang looked at Shi Shang unhappily. Shi Shang smiled innocently. I just want to be with her. You two brats. Yu Shang was so angry that he scolded them. His chest heaved up and down quickly. He calmed down. I don't object to the two of you dating, but you, Xia Ling, don't be like this. If you want to be with Xiao Guai, show your manly side. How can you make Xiao Guai happy in the future? Xia Ling was silent for a few seconds. I know. Follow me to the study. Yu Shang turned around and walked towards the study. Yu Shang and Xia Ling talked about something inside. When they came out, Xia Ling did not look very good. But he agreed to whatever Yu Shang said. After chasing Xia Ling out, Yu Shang pulled Shi Shang aside to teach her a lesson. If Yu Shang did not have work, he would have taught him a lesson. When Yu Shang found out about the relationship between the two, Xia Ling started to visit him openly. At first, Yu Shang was against it. But when he saw that Xia Ling was more obedient with Shi Shang, he handed over the supervision work to Shi Shang. Yu Shang wanted to support Xia Ling again. Shi Shang did not want to listen to Yu Shang's nagging. He still had to attend the school classes obediently. Hence, Xia Ling used some method to occupy a practice room in the school. When Shi Shang asked him, he said that he owed him a favor. Shi Shang always felt that everyone in the world owed Xia Ling a favor. When Shi Shang was in class, Xia Ling sometimes sat in with him and sometimes waited for him in the practice room. Naturally, rumors about Shi Shang and him began to spread in the school. Shi Shang could hear people talking about him wherever he went. Look, it's her. She's actually with someone like Xia Ling. I don't know what she's thinking. This girl is so cute, but she doesn't speak. It's a pity that she was ruined by Xia Ling. Hey, she's looking at us. Damn, she's coming. Shi Shang stood still and looked at the people who were talking. He said with a faint smile, I see that your glabella is turning black. Be careful of the calamity of the heart light. Everyone. What the hell? Why did this line sound so much like the lines of a charlatan? Shi Shang left after saying that. Along the way, whenever she heard someone say that Xia Ling had gone overboard, she would go over and reprimand them. Anyway, those who had never done bad things would not be effective. If they were effective, it would only prove that they had done bad things. Therefore, Shi Shang was not soft-hearted at all when attacking a group of people who asked them to badmouth her daughter-in-law. That was how protective he was. In the end, everyone in the school who Shi Shang said would suffer a calamity of the heart light were all unlucky. Although it was not a big problem, It was too freaking weird that they were collectively unlucky. Shi Shang wandered over to Xia Ling's practice room. There was music coming from the practice room. The tune was very nice, but Shi Shang felt that it was a little strange. If it was at night, she would definitely think that she had entered the scene of a horror movie. Shi Shang pushed the door open and entered. Xia Ling was sitting in front of a piano. The music was coming from under his hands. Shi Shang stood there for a while. The more she listened, the more she felt that something was wrong. This tune. She took a few steps forward and pressed down on the piano keys, disrupting the strange tune. Xia Ling, what are you doing? Xia Ling looked up stiffly. You're here. Where did you learn that tune from? Xia Ling seemed to have just come back to her senses. She looked at Shi Shang in confusion. What tune? You played it just now. I heard it when I was young. Xia Ling frowned. I don't know how it came out just now. That memory was very vague. But he did not know how he managed to recall it just now. It was especially clear. Shi Shang sat beside her. She placed her fingertips on the piano keys and pressed on a note. Then, smooth music flowed out from her fingertips. It was almost exactly the same as the tune he had played just now. But she only played a part before she stopped. Shi Shang looked at Xia Ling, her soft voice spreading throughout the practice room. Music has its own spirituality. It can make a person feel good and regain a new lease on life. It can also make a person suppress their sadness. The song you played just now, if you listen to it too much, you'll lose the will to live and end up committing suicide. Xia Ling's expression changed slightly. She muttered, I see. What? Xia Ling wrapped her arms around Shi Shang's waist and buried her head in his neck. I know a truth that I have been hiding for a long time. Shi Shang frowned. You? It's okay. Ask me anything you want. Did this song cause the death of your family? Yes. It was my mother a long time ago. Xia Ling's voice was a little low. I always felt that her suicide was very abrupt. She would listen to this tune repeatedly. But I was too young at that time and could not remember much. Just now, it was very strange. It was as if I had returned to my childhood and heard this tune clearly in my ears. Shi Shang's expression darkened. Mu Bai. It was definitely that idiot. Could not win against her, so she started to make a move on Feng Ci. Xia Ling spoke for a long time. She had probably found someone to confide in. His background was not good. His mother was someone else's mistress. He did not have a choice in his birth. Because he was a boy, the Xia family took him and his mother back. But in the Xia family, his mother did not have a good life. When he was 5 years old, his mother committed suicide. Before she died, he remembered the tune that he always heard in his mother's room. After his mother died, his first wife had a son. He was chased out of the Xia family. Fortunately, one of his mother's servants could not bear to see him like this and sent him to a welfare home. Later, he grew up in the welfare home until he was discovered by a talent scout and embarked on the road to stardom. I don't know why, but I don't want to hide anything from you. Xia Ling sighed slightly. Did you drug me? Shi Shang flicked his hair. To prove that my charm is boundless. She paused and her expression became serious. Don't stray too far from me in the future. Don't talk to strangers and don't follow strangers. Why are you treating me like a child? Xia Ling's mouth twitched. Shi Shang said with a serious face, because I think there's an idiot who wants to scheme against me. Xia Ling. Shi Shang took some time to check the surveillance cameras near the practice room. However, he did not see any strange people. Mu Bai could crack a patch, which meant that he was on par with her in terms of skills. If he really did it, he would not have left any traces for her to investigate. Chapter 8:14. The matter of An Chen stealing songs was getting more and more serious. Chen Yan and Yin Baobao were involved as well. Just when everyone was confused, a voice suddenly rang out. Xia Ling released a single, Time and You. The release of this single stunned many people. They were familiar with the lyrics, but the tune was completely different from what they had heard before. It was more ethereal and transparent, like the sound of Sanskrit from the heavens. Most importantly, there were a few lyrics that Chen had never sung before. Anyone who knew music would know that Xia Ling had sung the complete version. Many fans began to become his fans. As for the anti-fans, they still spared no effort to criticize Xia Ling, but it did not stop them from liking the song. They loved and hated it at the same time. With the help of the anti-fans, Xia Ling did not have to do any publicity. Shi Shang registered a new account. After verifying it, he immediately reposted Xia Ling's Weibo. Xia Ling's follower list had been cleared, so when a VIP named the #1 fraud appeared on his follower list, the group immediately went crazy. Who was the #1 fraud? They did not know him. What the hell was verification? The #1 fraud in Hua Nation? Since when could Weibo be verified like this? Hey, is this Weibo? Someone was spreading superstitions. The group of people in school who had been scammed by Shi Shang saw this Weibo and immediately thought of the cute girl who had an ambiguous relationship with Xia Ling. Her words were so accurate that no one in school dared to provoke her now. Many people even wanted to have their fortunes told by her. She had left a screenshot of the account Shi Shang had previously cancelled. After registering on Weibo, she directly posted the ID information of that account and the ID information of this account on Weibo. Coupled with some screenshots of the original owner's interactions with others, the truth was self-evident. The artists who had signed contracts with the original owner also began to post on Weibo that the original owner's information was a girl named Bumeng. Of course, Yin Baobao could also say that she had used someone else's ID, but Yin Baobao did not have time to explain. Since Yin Baobao did not do anything, Chen and Yin Baobao naturally lost this matter. Chen disappeared for a long time. It was said that he had gone abroad to lie low. Xia Ling became popular again, but that single was not released in the new album. Even the website that he had posted before was deleted. Now, it was basically impossible to find that song on the internet. Even if someone uploaded it, it would be quickly censored. Such a beautiful song, but in the end, they couldn't hear it? Some fans expressed their dissatisfaction and hoped that Xia Ling would release the song. Just as the fans were about to explode, Shi Shang posted on Weibo. #1 Charlatan v. Time and You is not a commercial song. It belongs to a person's memory. Xia Ling sang this song just to get back the right of authorship. Even though Chen had posted that video, his fans still didn't believe it. They felt that Chen had been framed. Only by presenting the song perfectly in front of them would they believe who the original author was. Xia Ling quickly reposted Shi Shang's Weibo post. Her attitude towards her fans was as aggressive as ever, making them want to turn against her immediately. Although there were still irrational fans who couldn't accept it, there were also people who supported Shi Shang's words. Since she wasn't in the commercial business, it was her business whether she released it or not. Xia Ling's background was not bad. Under Yu Shang's planning, a new song was quickly released. The lyrics were tailor-made by a professional, and Xia Ling also wrote some of the lyrics herself. Shi Shang? She was only good at fighting, digging holes, and acting cool. She didn't know how to do this kind of work at all. Didn't you say that you were omnipotent? The host slapped herself in the face. You have money and power, but aren't you omnipotent? I actually have no words to refute. Recently, Xia Ling had been busy with the new song. Shi Shang was bored alone, so she prepared to go out and swindle people. However, as soon as she stepped out, someone wanted to kidnap her. The light in the basement was very dim, and the kidnappers were hiding in the dark. When Shi Shang was about to get into the car, a few people quickly rushed forward, intending to quickly carry her into the car next to them. However, just as they approached, the girl suddenly pulled out a shiny sword from the car and pointed it at the people surrounding her. She raised her chin, puffed up her cheeks, and asked fiercely, "What are you doing?" "The kidnappers." "Kidnapping." Shi Shang waved the iron sword. "Do you see this sword I have? It's been consecrated. If you don't want to die, hurry up and get lost." consecrated. Even if it looked very real, they didn't believe that such a cute girl would dare to run around with a real sword. She would be caught if she ran around with a weapon. The kidnappers looked at each other and signaled with their eyes. Two of them attracted Shi Shang's attention, while the others prepared to grab Shi Shang from the side. Shi Shang scolded them for being idiots. There were always people who wanted to die. If she didn't satisfy them, she would be letting her sword down. Strange sounds came from the basement. Shi Shang habitually stacked these people together, one on top of the other. Host, why are you stacking them together? The system had wanted to ask this question for a long time. It was to prevent this group of idiots from getting up and scheming against it. Look at the plot. Which one of them wasn't defeated in the end and schemed against? It was simply a trap. Very good, I've learned another trick. Who told you to come here? Shi Shang asked the kidnapper on top of the pile. The kidnapper was very tight-lipped. No matter how Shi Shang asked, he wouldn't say a word. Hello, is this Yao Yao Ling? I want to call the police. There are a few people here who want to kidnap me. Why can I still make a phone call? Of course I can make a phone call after I beat them up. Otherwise, why would I wait for you to save Ai's body? Hurry up and send someone over. The kidnappers. As the target of the kidnapping, can't you act like a normal person? Which idiot gave you the information that this girl was easy to deal with? Shi Shang hung up the phone and looked at the pile of people. His tone was arrogant. Even if you don't say it, I know who you are. Baby In, right? Attempted kidnapping isn't a big crime. You won't die. At most, you'll spend a few decades in prison. The sound of sirens came from afar. The kidnappers' hearts collapsed. The police officers quickly got out of the car and surrounded the kidnappers and Shi Shang. When they saw a petite and cute girl and a few men who were stacked together, the police officers blushed with shame. So many grown men couldn't even defeat a little girl? When Hong Dui saw the cute girl standing next to the kidnappers, he felt terrible. He hadn't even recovered from the trauma from last time, and now it came again? Long time no see, Captain Hong. Shi Shang smiled and greeted Captain Hong. Ha ha. Hong Dui sneered. I didn't really want to see you. He glanced at the kidnappers and took a deep breath. He tried to mentally prepare himself. Miss Boo, you said they wanted to kidnap you? Asterisk thanks to Hong Dui's trauma. Ha ha ha. Chapter 8:15. That's right. Didn't you see it? What did he see? All he saw was a few men stacked up like a mountain. Sir, I want to report, I want to report. The kidnapper at the top suddenly said, She has a weapon. She has a sword. It's in her car. Shi Shang glanced at the kidnapper faintly. His eyes curved into crescents. I see that your glabella is dark. You're in for a bloodbath. The kidnapper was dumbfounded. Miss Boo, you can't intimidate the suspect, Hong Dui chided. Be reasonable. When did I intimidate him? She only said one sentence, and that was intimidating? Hong Dui ordered his men to handcuff the kidnappers. He pointed at the car the kidnapper had pointed at. Search it. Shi Shang stood there nonchalantly. The police officers searched the car inside and out, but they did not find any weapon. The kidnappers were even more confused. They clearly saw her put the sword in the car. How could it not be there? There must be a police officer. She even threatened to kill us. Sir, you can search the car again. There might be a hidden compartment in the car. In the end, Hong Dui got into the car himself, but he did not find anything. He glared at the kidnappers. Take them away. Hong Dui looked at Shi Shang's car, then sized up Shi Shang. Miss Boo, do you have a driver's license? No. Hong Dui suddenly smiled strangely. Miss Boo, it looks like you'll have to ask your guardian to come here. Why? You're driving without a license. He finally had a chance to catch this wretched girl. He felt like he had been tricked. Shi Shang blinked innocently. But I didn't drive. She did not drive the car on the road. Who would dare to accuse her of driving without a license? Hong Dui had forgotten about this and glared hatefully at Shi Shang. Miss Bu, please. As the informant, she naturally had to go to the police station to record her statement. Shi Shang had already entered the police station 3 times. When he went in, he said, I see that your glabella is dark. You're in for a bloodbath. All the police officers were speechless. Where did this superstitious girl come from? He dared to swindle in front of the police. Most of the people in the police station were upright people. Even if there were some flaws, the spirit language spell would not affect them much. Ah! A policewoman exclaimed and blew hard on her fingers. Well, at most, it would be like now, being pinched by the door. After taking Shi Shang's statement, the police threw him into the interrogation room. Shi Shang rubbed her aching head. She had used the spirit language spell too many times, and it consumed a lot of her energy. However, she found that the more she used it, the more time she could use it again. Therefore, he had to practice more when he had nothing to do. Perhaps when she reached the highest level, she could destroy the world with a single word. The host must be dreaming again. How could such a bug exist? Outside the interrogation room, Hong Dui looked at the cute girl in the surveillance camera with a solemn expression. Captain Hong, this young lady is very strange. Just now when she said those words, those guys outside started to get unlucky. The most unlucky one is Xiao Wang from the investigation department. He was hit by a passing motorcycle when he went out. Ever since she came in, the entire police station had not been peaceful. Have you interrogated those people? We're still interrogating them, but the results should be similar to what she said. They were planning to kidnap her, but who knew that this young lady was so powerful that she got herself into trouble? The results of the interrogation of the kidnappers were far beyond the police's expectations. These people had helped to kidnap many people before, profited from it, and even killed people. This time, it was not an attempted kidnapping, but a murder case. Shi Shang had said that they would be in jail for decades, but now it seemed that they would not be able to escape. When Shi Shang was released, it was almost 11 o'clock at night. Although Hong Dui did not like this young lady who caused trouble wherever she went, he still ordered someone to send Shi Shang home. Shi Shang returned home. The house was dark. She did not turn on the lights and walked directly to the bedroom. She was very sleepy now and wanted to sleep to replenish her mental strength. The bedroom door was ajar, so she pushed it open. Strange, she had closed the door when she left. Was there a thief? It was impossible. Shi Shang pushed the door open and turned on the lights. The dark room suddenly lit up. A figure was lying on the big bed, and the light shone on his tired face. Xia Ling was probably exhausted. The glaring light only made him uncomfortable for a moment. Then he buried his head under the blanket and went back to sleep. Shi Shang shook his head. After washing up, he climbed into the bed and tucked Xia Ling under the blanket. The next day, Shi Shang was still sleeping when he heard a rustling sound beside him. He tilted his head and narrowed his eyes to look. Xia Ling got out of bed like a thief, and Shi Shang reached out to grab his clothes. Xia Ling's back stiffened. He paused for a few seconds and turned his head. His expression was a little unnatural. You're awake. What time is it? It's past 9 o'clock. Xia Ling's eyes drifted. Sleep for a while more. I have to go to the office later. How did he sleep with her last night? If Yu Sheng knew, he would beat him to death. Yu Sheng had warned him not to have sex before she graduated. Shi Shang let go of him. Xia Ling heaved a sigh of relief and quickly went out. However, the moment he opened the door, he saw Yu Shang and Assistant Feng sitting in the living room. Assistant Feng looked at the door behind him with a strange expression and said, "Brother Yu, I'll go first." No wonder brother you looked so bad when he came out of Xiao Guai's room. Assistant Feng silently lit a candle for Xia Ling in his heart. Yu Shang nodded with a bad expression. After Assistant Feng left, he looked at Xia Ling. I didn't do anything to her, Xiaoling explained calmly. Yu Sheng glanced at his clothes. It was the same set he wore yesterday. It's best that you didn't. This is your schedule. Because Xiaoling went back on his promise with Yu Sheng, he didn't have much time to rest. If Yu Sheng caught him talking to Shi Shang on the phone, he would have to add 2 more things to his schedule. He didn't even feel so tired when the glittering duo was famous all over the country. And Shi Shang was still fooling around in school. If he didn't like someone, he would say, "Your glabella is dark. There will be a bloody disaster." Now, almost everyone in school avoided her. This was a calamity that would result in blood if there was any disagreement. Who would dare to get too close to such a girl? Even if she was cute. It didn't change the fact that she had a crow's mouth. Junior Bumeng, Junior Bumeng. Shi Shang stopped and turned to look at the person who called him. It was a good-looking boy. Because he ran over, his face was a little red. Junior Bumeng. The senior took a deep breath and invited her seriously. Are you interested in joining the Metaphysics Club? Shi Shang rejected without thinking. No. Even an authentic master couldn't teach a half-baked person like the original host. What can you, a Metaphysics Club, come up with? I'm not going. The senior wasn't discouraged. He said politely, Junior, you can think about it. If you change your mind, you can come to the Metaphysics Club to find me. I'm not going. The senior. Don't you know that you have to be polite? Goodbye. Shi Shang nodded slightly. He walked around the senior and continued to walk towards the school gate. The senior. Okay, Junior is still very polite. Chapter 8:16. Shi Shang thought that his senior would give up, but he did not expect that his senior would go against her. He insisted on pulling her into the Metaphysics Club. In the end, Shi Shang decided not to go to class. Only then did he have some peace. Yin Baobao failed to kidnap her last time, and she did not know what she was doing recently. There was no news at all. Shi Shang opened the web and browsed through the recent news. The Yin family maintained a frequency of 1 incident per week. They were on the list every week, but it was not a big deal. It could not shake the Yin family's foundation. Ding. Chinese Entertainment Annual Ceremony v. Hello, is this Chen Yan? Shi Shang was a little confused when he saw the message on Weibo. He clicked on the homepage and saw that it was an official account. Number 1 Fraud v. Chinese Entertainment Annual Ceremony v. We invite you to attend this year's Chinese Entertainment Annual Ceremony. Since we don't have an address, can you provide it? Damn it. This was the big boss world. What was he going to do if he did not know anything? He failed at pretending to be cool. No. Shi Shang directly rejected the official invitation. The officials respected Shi Shang very much and expressed regret at his rejection. However, Shi Shang did not want to go. Xiaoling wanted to go. He naturally had to bring a female companion to attend such an occasion. No one in the industry dared to go with Xiaoling, a person who would turn hostile at the slightest disagreement. Xiaoling had a bad temper. He had been like this ever since he was in the glitter group. He almost never went with women. He attended events alone 98% of the time. The remaining 1% were the female companions that the officials arranged for him. However, he would turn hostile after a few sentences with them. He did not know how to be gentle with women at all. This kind of person was definitely asking for it. The remaining 1% were the female companions who refused to go with him. Who would want to go with a male companion who was always ready to turn hostile under the spotlight? 2 years had passed. This was probably Xiaoling's first time attending such an event. When they saw Xiaoling enter the venue with a cute girl who looked like an underage girl, everyone was waiting to watch a good show. However, Xiaoling did not turn hostile from the beginning to the end. He even took special care of the girl. Who is that? Xiaoling did not turn hostile from the moment he entered. It's amazing. Isn't there a rumor online that Xiaoling is a couple? She's Chen Yan, the one who caused a huge uproar before. Chen Yan. I know her. She was the one who wrote the lyrics for Southbound. She's a very intelligent lyricist. I didn't expect her to be so young. Is she already an adult? Speaking of which, it's strange. Why isn't she writing songs for Xiaoling? None of Xiaoling's current songs were written by her. On the other hand, Xiaoling's original songs were especially popular. Of course, it was only his songs that were popular. It had nothing to do with him as a person. His anti-fans were still everywhere. Everyone was looking forward to Xiaoling turning hostile, but from the beginning to the end, Xiaoling was unbelievably quiet. She did not do anything at all. Xiaoling, who didn't cause any trouble, made people feel uncomfortable. After the award ceremony, there was a cocktail party. Xiaoling, welcome back. A young man came over with a female companion with a smile on his face. Xiaoling glanced at him and sneered. No need. Xiaoling, it's been so long since that incident. You still remember it? Men shouldn't be so petty. After all, we worked together for so long. We're all in the same circle. Why do you have to be so calculative? Xiaoling's gaze turned cold inch by inch. The man paused and smiled. He looked at Shi Shang beside him. Young lady, you're Chen Yan? Xiaoling pulled Shi Shang behind her. Cui Liangye, don't treat me like the Xiaoling from 2 years ago. Don't you dare touch my people. Cui Liangye laughed. I'm just saying hello. Xiaoling, don't be so nervous. No need. Cui Liangye shrugged helplessly. Alright then. Let's meet again next time. Shi Shang popped his head out from behind Xiaoling. I see that your glabella is turning dark. You're going to have a bloody disaster. Xiaoling was speechless. Why did she say that to everyone she met? Young lady, you're really good at joking. Cui Liangye laughed good-naturedly. He turned to Xiaoling and said, Xiaoling, you have to control her. It's not good to offend people in this circle. I'll take responsibility for what she says. I don't need you to remind me. Alright, I'm being nosy. Cui Liangye left with his female companion. Cui Liangye was the third member of the glitter group. Although Xiaoling was not popular, he was good-looking and had a lot of anti-fans. He was well received. Cui Liangye was different. He was not as good-looking as Xiaoling and his singing skills were not as good as Chen's. He was like a background character in the group. After the group disbanded, he did not appear in public much. Shi Shang glanced at Xiaoling's expression. She was not looking good. She looked like she was about to fall out with him. It seemed that Xiaoling was upset about the disbandment of the glitter group. But this incident was not reported on the internet at all. They disbanded for no reason. Later on, Chen became extremely popular and no one paid attention to the reason for the disbandment of the glitter group. They only knew that Chen had not been able to develop for such a long time because of Xiaoling. Xiaoling held Shi Shang's hand and calmed the irritation in her heart. Let's go. Uncle is not here yet. Yu Shang had said that he would come over and ask them to wait for him. We're not waiting anymore. Chapter 8:17. There was no doubt that Xiaoling was at a bar. He didn't allow Shi Shang to drink. After drinking a bunch of them, he successfully got drunk. Shi Shang spent a lot of effort to get him home. Let me hug you. Xiaoling held onto Shi Shang and didn't let go. He pulled Shi Shang into his arms and rubbed his face against Shi Shang's. Xiaoling hugged Shi Shang for a few minutes. He probably felt uncomfortable and let go of Shi Shang. It's hot. He tugged at his clothes but couldn't tear them apart. Xiaoling felt even hotter and called out to Shi Shang pitifully, Darling? I'm hot. What does that have to do with me? Shi Shang threw him onto the sofa and went back to the room to take a shower. Damn it, get him back. She felt as if she had just fished him out of the water. When she came out of the shower, the living room was a mess again. Xiaoling was lying on the floor and his clothes were torn apart, revealing his muscular chest. Damn it, I really owe you. Shishang scolded and went forward to drag Xiaoling into the room. When Shishang went to the toilet to get a towel, Xiaoling had already rolled off the bed and covered his head with the blanket. This idiot wanted to go to heaven. Shishang couldn't be bothered with him and just let him lie on the floor. Anyway, he wouldn't catch a cold in this weather. Who knew that in the middle of the night, Xiaoling would crawl out from under the bed again? Who knew where he had taken off his clothes? He sniffed the air first, probably to confirm that the human-shaped pillow could be hugged, before pulling Shishang into his embrace. Xiao Guai. His voice was soft. His warm breath brushed past Shishang's ear, causing her to feel a slight numbness. He called her name again and again. She didn't know if he was awake or not, but his lips were nibbling and rubbing against her back. The next day, Xiaoling woke up with a sore back. He sat on the bed and looked at the mess in the room. There was a faint smell in the room and his brain couldn't process what had happened. After a while, he lifted the blanket to take a look. His long eyelashes fluttered. Oh no, he had slept with Darling. Xiaoling looked vexed. He couldn't remember anything. Xiao Guai. Xiaoling called out tentatively. He did not hear any movement. Just as he got out of bed, the door opened. Shishang was standing at the door in a dress. Shishang was silent for a moment. You're running around naked in the morning? Xiaoling quickly shrank back onto the bed and covered her body with the blanket. Last night. Shishang spread out his hands and laughed gloatingly. You forced me. My rejection had no effect. I can only satisfy you. Xiaoling. I see that you're very satisfied. Xiaoling was a little unconvinced. How could he not remember anything? Come here. Xiaoling beckoned Shishang over with her finger. Shishang leaned against the door and smiled proudly. In your dreams. Humph. If you don't want to come, then forget it. I'll go over. Xiaoling dragged the blanket and went straight to the door. Shishang stepped back and held the door handle, leaving only a small gap. Take a shower and come out quickly. Xiaoling stared blankly at the closed door. She scratched the door in a dilemma, but in the end, she obediently went to take a shower. Next time, he would definitely let her know how powerful he was. The incident of the artist's bed photos at the cocktail party had a great impact on Yu Sheng. Although Shishang did not interfere, he had been paying attention to it. At this time, the media released photos of Xiaoling entering and exiting a bar with a strange woman. The article was written in a more obscure way. It was clearly implying that Xiaoling was having an affair with another woman. Before Yu Sheng could deal with it, he saw the #1 fraud's Weibo being pushed to the top. This was what the popular Weibo post wrote. #1 fraud V. What's wrong with I going to a bar with my boyfriend? Do you have to report the whole process of dating? If you care so much about why don't you buy me a house? It was unknown whether they were Xiaoling's anti-fans or the original owner's fans, but all kinds of comments flooded the screen. Luxurious grass. Paparazzi nowadays only know how to make things up. Isn't it normal for our goddess and Xiaoling to be together? Writing without knowing anything, you're simply scum of the industry. A trace of afterglow. Why don't you buy me a house plus 1 crow's nest? Xiaoling is not worthy of my goddess. Goddess, don't be fooled by Xiaoling. He's so evil. He hurts me over and over again. Merciless moon. Paparazzi are so annoying. They only know how to invade other people's privacy. Love returning dream. Why don't you buy me a house plus 2 sparse willow? Is Chenyan really together with Xiaoling? Heavy green. Didn't someone post a picture of the two of them at an event? Goddess is so cute. I'm licking the screen. Same as secluded boudoir. Xiaoling, give me back my goddess. Xiaoling's fans continued to slander him relentlessly. Shishang's fans almost all wanted Xiaoling to not be with their goddess. The news eventually evolved into a group of people asking for a breakup. Xiao Guai, look at them. They actually want us to break up. Xiaoling sneered. Over my dead body. Who told you to have so many anti-fans? Shishang looked up and saw Xia Ling typing with a cold smile. She immediately had a bad feeling. When she went over, Xia Ling had already sent it. Shishang refreshed the homepage. Xia Ling's Weibo post immediately popped up. Xia Ling v. Even if everyone in the world died, I wouldn't break up. Shishang watched helplessly as Xia Ling's anti-fans increased at a terrifying speed. Did this guy have all the anti-fans in the world? Xia Ling had been provoking his fans for a long time. Yu Shang was already used to it. Anyway, he had so many anti-fans that it was impossible to clear his name. Yu Shang decided to give Xia Ling, slander him all the way to the end. Because of Xia Ling's actions, the popularity of the previous bed photo incident actually decreased. The trending topics were all pushed up by Xia Ling's anti-fans. Hashtag Xia Ling breaks up with Chen Yan. Hashtag Xia Ling. I'm going to slander you. Hashtag Xia Ling. Get out of the music industry. Hashtag Xia Ling V. Do you think I'll get out just because you want me to? You're not shameless enough. Some people commented below, what do you need to look like? Xia Ling directly posted Shishang's photo. The anti-fans were stuffed with dog food. They were even more determined to break up the couple. Hashtag I never thought that I would be broken up one day. Hashtag this was retribution. Shishang did not care at all. A couple that could break up was not true love. She also did not believe that anyone could break up her and Xia Ling. Ever since the internet clamored for them to break up the couple, Xia Ling's daily provocation became a public display of affection. Luxuriant grass. It's 8 o'clock. Xia Ling is going to show his affection again. Let's leave first. Crow's nest. My goddess is so pitiful. She's enslaved by Xia Ling. No. I have to save my goddess. Same as secluded boudoir. Didn't you guys notice that Xia Ling's fans have increased by a lot? A trace of afterglow. They're all anti-fans. Heavy green. Ah, goddess, what do you like about Xia Ling? Other than his good looks, what else is there to redeem him? Number 1 Charlatan V. Good looks are enough. Xia Ling V. Fortunately, I have such a good-looking face. Number 1 Charlatan V. Good looks are enough. Asterisk the above online username came from May Chosi. Hashtag today, I'm asking for New Year's votes. Hashtag hello, 2017 hashtag I hope everyone's New Year's results will be off the charts, red packets will be full, and boyfriends will be home. Hashtag finally, I'm asking for votes. Chapter 8:18. In the past, it was always Shishang who showed off his affection. This time, Shishang was not used to Xia Ling's public display of affection. It was nothing much after he got used to it. Xia Ling had a few interviews recently. Yu Shang kept an eye on him every day, afraid that he would cause trouble. However, Xia Ling was quite well behaved recently and did not cause any trouble. This made Yu Shang look at him in a new light. After today, I'll give you a few days off. Yu Shang patted Xia Ling's shoulder. Don't cause trouble. Xia Ling arrogantly raised his chin and did not answer Yu Shang. Yu Shang shook his head and turned to talk to the other staff. The interview soon began. The host was considered a gold medal host in the industry. He first asked Xia Ling a few irrelevant questions in a gentle manner. May I ask if Mr. Xia really has a girlfriend? The host suddenly changed the topic with a hint of gossip. Xia Ling nodded. Yes. Mr. Xia and your girlfriend seem to be very loving. How long have you been secretly dating? Does your girlfriend feel troubled because of you? Xia Ling glanced at the host indifferently. Why would she feel troubled? The host was speechless. Because your anti-fans are everywhere. Of course, the host did not dare to say this out loud. He said tactfully, as a celebrity, it's inevitable to encounter all kinds of troubles. Xia Ling suddenly snorted coldly. I won't let her have any troubles. If there's anything, come at me. What's the point of bullying a little girl? The host was speechless. F***ck. Was he King provoking his fans again? Absolutely. The industry's evaluation of him was that he was constantly provoking his fans. He deserved to have so many anti-fans. The host coughed. Mr. Xia is really good to his girlfriend. I heard that your girlfriend is the lyricist Chen Yan. I wonder if it's true. It's none of your business. The host was speechless. I'm hosting the show. What does it have to do with me? This is a more private question. Since Mr. Xia doesn't want to talk about it, we'll respect you. Let's move on to the next question. The host paused. I heard that glitter group disbanded because of you. Is that true? When the host asked this question, not only did the scene become strangely quiet, but even the people backstage quieted down. Yu Sheng stared in disbelief. Why was this question again? Why was this question again? Why is it this question again? Xia Ling was originally sitting casually, but after the host's question, he slowly sat up straight and his gaze fell on the host. If one were to say that Xia Ling was like a wild and untamed lion cub with a sense of laziness, then Xia Ling would be like this. At this moment, Xia Ling was like an enraged lion. His eyes were deep and the chill seeped through the air into the host's skin bit by bit. She was actually a little scared, but in the end, she gritted her teeth and quickly asked, Back then, you betrayed the glittering combination and lost the opportunity to go to H country for further training. What made you do that? Can Mr. Xia tell me more? Xia Ling stood up and wanted to hit the host. He didn't care if you were a woman or a man. If you offended you, you had to be beaten up. The host did not expect Xia Ling to really hit her like this. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She screamed and ran backstage. Yu Sheng led his men to stop Xia Ling and scolded coldly, Xia Ling. Xia Ling stared maliciously at the host who was being protected behind him. He clenched his fists so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. Yu Sheng hurriedly asked his men to carry Xia Ling to the waiting room. The host patted her chest in fear. This Xia Ling was really like a lunatic. What's wrong with you? The director hurriedly ran over from the other side. Who told you to mention the glittering combination? The host was dumbfounded. Didn't you guys give me the script? The director was also dumbfounded. The script we prepared didn't have this problem. The director thought about it and understood. Someone had swapped the script. The director said a few words to the host and hurriedly left. The host's lips curled into a smug smile. Just as she turned around, she suddenly saw a baby face. The baby face girl was looking at her with a smile. The host felt that this face was a little familiar, but she couldn't remember at the moment. While she was still thinking, the baby face girl opposite her said, I see that your glabella is dark. You're going to have a bloody disaster. Crazy. The host snorted. She twisted her waist and walked towards the elevator. Shang pursed his lips and went to Xia Ling's waiting room. There were quite a lot of people in the waiting room. They were probably afraid that Xia Ling would make a scene. The moment Shang went in, Xia Ling retracted the cold aura around him and looked at him silently. Xiao Guai, when did you come over? Yu Shang exclaimed in surprise before turning to look at Xia Ling. He lowered his voice and spoke to Shang, tell him not to let him cause trouble. Xia Ling listened to Shang's words. Yu Shang had a deep understanding of this. His words were basically nonsense, but Xia Ling wouldn't refute Xiao Guai's words, even if it was just one word. Honey was obedient. Yu Shang led the others out and closed the door. Why are you so angry? Shang walked over. He reached out and brushed the stray hair in front of his forehead, revealing his good-looking eyes. Xia Ling didn't say a word and hugged Shang in his arms. Time passed by slowly. Xia Ling didn't know how long he had been in this position. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. In the end, he closed his mouth and didn't say a word. It's okay if you don't want to say it. Shang patted his back. Xia Ling let go of him and lowered his head. You don't mind that I'm hiding something from you? It's not something important. Xia Ling's expression changed slightly. Then he heard her say, "In my heart, it's fine as long as you're fine." Xia Ling suddenly smiled and kissed Shi Shang on the cheek. "Yes, you're the most important." She could always make him unable to get angry. He carried Shi Shang to the sofa and sat down. 2 years ago, the group had the chance to study at a famous music academy in H country. At that time, there were 2 other groups fighting for this opportunity. During the last interview, we found that the other group had prepared the same song as us. Xia Ling paused. Because of this, we lost the chance to study. After we went back, for some reason, they blamed me for leaking the secret. Because of this, the group had all kinds of conflicts during that time. After An Chen found a better career, he paid the penalty and went solo. An Chen was the lead singer in the group. Was there a need for the group to continue existing when the lead singer was gone? So in the end, the group disbanded. Shi Shang pinched Xia Ling's fingers. "Who do you suspect leaked the secret?" Xia Ling was silent for a few seconds. "Cui Liangye." During that time, Cui Liangye wasn't in good spirits. He thought it was because of the group. Later, he heard Cui Liangye talking to someone on the phone. It seemed that the conversation had broken down. Cui Liangye angrily mentioned the name of their song. But at that time, An Chen had already left and he didn't have any evidence. Cui Liangye was usually very tight-lipped, so he couldn't get anything out of him. It was the 2nd day of the new year. Chapter 8:19. After that, the group was in a stalemate for a while. When they could not hold on any longer, Cui Liangye left. Xia Ling did not know where he went. She saw him a few times after that, but he seemed to be doing well. Xia Ling's mouth twitched. An Chen always thought that I betrayed the group. When he was in trouble, he immediately found a way out. All these years, he had intentionally or unintentionally suppressed him. When they were in the group, Xia Ling and An Chen had a good relationship. They could be considered brothers. However, after this incident, An Chen left without a word. He was not even willing to investigate the truth. Shi Shang was silent. It was a classic case of brothers turning against each other. What's the use of having a man? I'm enough. Shi Shang patted his chest domineeringly. Xia Ling laughed. Yes, you're enough. You're enough. The interview was not broadcast live, but there were so many audience members and staff present. When they were in the studio, they could control them from posting on Weibo. However, when they were outside, these people could not control themselves. Hashtag Xia Ling hit someone hashtag was trending again. At the same time, there were also hashtag the truth behind Glitter's disbandment hashtag and hashtag Xia Ling breaks up with Chen Yan hashtag. Shi Shang was speechless. Why was the breakup of the couple also trending? In a short period of time, Shi Shang discovered that several internet celebrities had posted long Weibo posts about the truth behind Glitter's disbandment. They analyzed the cause of Glitter's disbandment from all angles. To sum it up, Glitter's disbandment was Xia Ling's fault. At that time, not many people reported this incident. The media that knew about it were suppressed, so no one reported the reason behind Glitter's disbandment. Now that the internet had exploded, the media that knew about it could not hold it in anymore. They all jumped out to expose it. Congratulations, the number of haters has increased again. Shi Shang was speechless when he saw the number of haters increasing rapidly. This was definitely the fastest growing number of haters in the industry. Although they were haters, Xia Ling was practicing a new song at the side. When she heard Shi Shang's words, she looked up from a pile of instruments. These people have nothing better to do. Ignore them. Shi Shang put away his phone. Speaking of which, don't you think this incident is a little unusual? The host had asked very straightforwardly. How did she know about the incident? Why did she expose it at this time? Also, those marketing accounts wrote long Weibo posts in such a short period of time. There must be a conspiracy. Brother, you hasn't been doing well recently. Xia Ling did not answer Shi Shang's question. Instead, She jumped onto Yu Shang and said, "His artists keep getting into trouble." After the previous bed photo, a few celebrity scandals were exposed. Yu Shang was extremely busy all day. Xia Ling had already given Shi Sheng full responsibility. Now that the glittering group from 2 years ago was exposed, Yu Shang had an even bigger headache. And Chen's fans were one thing, but Xia Ling's anti-fans were also involved. It was as if they were going to blow this matter up to the heavens. It was rare that Xia Ling did not respond, which comforted Yu Shang a little. If Xia Ling ran out to scold the fans again, he might as well commit suicide. Shi Shang guessed that Yu Shang was plotted against by that idiot Yin Baobao. She hid well, not daring to show her face. Instead, she secretly directed people to do things for her. But how could the Shi Sheng not be able to find her? She drove all the way out of the city to the suburbs. There was a very private villa area where Yin Baobao was hiding. Shi Shang avoided the surveillance cameras, climbed over the wall, and found Yin Baobao's villa. She swaggered to the door and pressed the doorbell. The person who opened the door was probably a bodyguard. When he saw the person outside, he was a little surprised and quickly spoke into his earpiece. Soon, bodyguards came out of the villa one after another. Yin Baobao was standing behind the group of bodyguards. Bu Meng. Yin Baobao's expression was a little strange when she saw who it was. "How did you get in?" Shi Shang pushed open the tightly shut iron door. Under everyone's surprised gaze, she walked slowly into the courtyard and looked at Yin Baobao calmly. "I just got in like this." That was a combination lock. The bodyguards were a little confused. They all looked at her questioningly. "She didn't close the door when she came in?" "She closed it." "Who knew that she opened it with just a push?" "She had already opened the door." "Why did she press the doorbell just now? Was there cat biscuits?" "Since she came to me, don't blame me for being rude." "I'll catch her." Yin Baobao snorted. Yin Baobao dared to kidnap people before. She probably even dared to kill people now. The bodyguards were very professional and quickly surrounded Shi Sheng. Shi Shang still looked calm, but his tone was a little arrogant. "If you want to catch me, you have to queue up." The number of people who wanted to kill Baobao could circle the earth a few times, let alone catch her. All the bodyguards were speechless. Was this young lady stupid? Look at her small body. They could handle her with one hand. How could she ask them to queue up? Even if she was bragging, this was not how she should brag. However, the bodyguards soon realized that this young lady was not bragging. She was telling the truth. They had never thought that such a young lady could be so powerful. Shi Shang grabbed the head of the bodyguards. She was much shorter than the head of the bodyguards, so she dragged him in the direction of the stairs. The head of the bodyguards was very unhappy. However, there was a very sharp sword against his neck. He was forced to move along with Shi Sheng. Shi Shang stepped on the stairs and was immediately taller than the head of the bodyguards. The problem of height was solved. Shi Shang looked down from above. The corners of his mouth curled up into a sinister smile. "Get your men to catch her." The head of the bodyguards was speechless. This was not how things were supposed to play out. She was his employer. How could he catch his own employer? Shi Shang continued to threaten him. "If you don't catch her, I will kill you." Which is more valuable, your life or hers? Of course, his own life was more valuable. They were just ordinary bodyguards. They did not sell their lives. No matter how much money they had, it was still better than losing their lives. However, the head of the bodyguards still struggled. Murder is against the law. They were licensed bodyguards. They did not do anything illegal. Shi Shang sneered and flicked his fringe arrogantly. "I won't let the police know that I killed her." "Are you stupid?" The head of the bodyguards was speechless. He was not stupid. He had never met such an arrogant and confident person. "Woman." "Bah." "Young lady." "Which family taught this young lady?" "You're too arrogant. The police are here to talk to you. Don't waste time. Hurry up. Otherwise, I will do it. If this goes on, your head will be separated from your neck. Shi Shang exerted a little force. The iron sword pressed against the head of the bodyguard's main artery. The head of the bodyguards could already feel the cold object on his neck. It was cutting his blood vessels. He did not want to die. The head of the bodyguards immediately waved his hand. Do as she says. Don't you dare. I paid. Yin Bao Bao shouted in a panic. I will give you more money. The head of the bodyguards broke down inside. No matter how much money he had to be alive to spend it. I am sorry, Miss Yin. The head of the bodyguards apologized apologetically. After that, he felt the force on his neck increase. He immediately urged the other bodyguards. Hurry up. Yin Bao Bao's expression changed. She turned around and ran into the villa. However, she was not as fast as the bodyguards. She was caught very quickly. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.